Thanks, honkers. Alright. Pull this up over here. Wait. Whoa! Thanks for being here. I see you, Elizabeth. I see Sloth. The Holy Honkers a second ago. Yeah, Elizabeth, you were fast. You were here before I was. I got here and like you were already here. Waiting. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. We're just getting started. I took yet another Monday off last night. You know, it's 2 Mondays in a row. I didn't feel like doing it, but that's okay. I'm excited to be here tonight to have these conversations with people. I extended the invite to Cyber. I don't know if he's gonna be here or not, but we'll be on Cyber Watch. If I ever need him to show up, I mean, I guess I could just have him make an appearance, like vocally, right? So I could just do that if I ever need him. I wish that I could tap into his mind though and access the information in there, like channel it. Do I talk about absurdism? Not really. Occasionally somebody will ask me about it because it's in my name. But usually when people ask me about absurdism, they like ask me in bad faith to like gatekeep absurdism. That's usually what I get. You know, the type of person who's like, I used to be an absurdist and you don't know anything about it. What do you think it is? And then I answer accurately. They're like, that's not at all what it is. You clearly don't have any idea what you're talking about. It's like, bruh, we get it. There's no way I could have answered. You would have said I was wrong regardless. It's always something like that. Yeah, you can be so many different ways. You can think so many different things and be an absurdist. Oh, you're an absurdist? Name every work by Camus. Yeah, exactly. Sloth. It's so true. It's like, oh, you love your mom? Name 3 of her albums. Oh, God. Well, we're just getting started here, so thanks for all the early taps. If you haven't sent your heart me yet, sending the gifts and everything in the beginning really helps give the stream a boost. Make sure you share the live out to everybody. Get some people in here, have some guests. I think
Y'all guys everywhere, so he's watching a kid get butt fucked. My
what?
fault, my fault. I started. Nah, I just love your videos, bro. Like I'm a huge fan. I'm
Oh,
not gonna lie,
thanks.
bro.
Yeah,
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Dingleberry
Fuck that dude.
Defart. Yeah, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
bro. Nah, I'm just saying I support your beliefs, bro. I'm an atheist too, bro.
Word. Well, I like your name. It's really funny, and I like
Yeah, I appreciate
I
that.
like the PFP. Takes me back to I
Right.
hated that kid, man.
Nah, facts.
But we
I
love
read
to
the
hate him.
Bible, whole contradiction, bro. I'm an ex-Christian, bro, for like like a month or two. The whole Bible is just
Oh,
a contradiction.
brand new to leaving Christianity.
Yeah. But like,
Wow.
if you read the Bible, you would understand why.
Yeah. Well, how's that been? That sounds recent. Usually people will have a, well, I don't know about usually, but a lot of
Nah,
times
my whole
people will have a
family's
really hard time with
atheist.
that.
My whole family's an atheist, bro. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. So
Oh,
like, I wasn't brought into this. I just started. But like,
okay.
yeah. But I
Where?
love you, bro. I love what you do. Yeah.
Thanks. I love you too. And I can say that it's June. So, anyway, thanks for coming up, Dingleberry Fart. I appreciate you.
Soon, bro.
It's June. I'm a little June bug. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can spread the love in May, in July, whatever. This is just a nod to like being gay. You can be gay. It's cool. Anyways, yeah. Still waiting for a guest. Have not really gotten an op yet. Been live for 6.5, no, 7 minutes now. My creation is good evidence. Whatever that means. How am I? I'm great. I think I got a little bit of heartburn. I was vaping a lot, so science is my best proof. Well, science doesn't have anything to do with God. Yeah, science deals with the natural world, and God is supposed to be metaphysical, so that's like the area of philosophy. Yeah, heartburn's the worst. Holy shit. I take omeprazole every day. Might take an extra one before bed. Oh shit, we got Slice. Be fucking hold. I said it before he could. I'm fast. I'm very fast. Hell yay. Did you guys know that YEA is actually pronounced yay? I think it means like the same thing. Yeah. And that's pronounced ya. And you know what? JA is also pronounced ya. Hmm. Well, anyways, why don't I play some music while we're waiting? I mean, is anybody here a fan of going hard? I don't go nearly as hard as I once did. But I could go for something hard every now and again. You know? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I think we could all use something a little hard inside us from time to time. I think that kind of cures an urge that we all have deep inside us. Or something. You feel it coming from within. It's coming like inside. It comes deep inside. Something about that, man. The universe had a start. Okay. I like when it sneaks up on you. Whoa. Uh-oh. Hey, redheaded trouble, are you ready to lose?
Yo, what's going on?
It's going on. How have you been?
Pretty good.
This part of the song sounds like Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, what's up?
How are you? It's been a while. How's your baby?
Oh yeah, they're both good. Chester's 5 months old now, and Robbie is going on. He'll be 3 in September.
Right on. Well, it's good to see you. I'm trying to get back into doing lives eventually, but you know, life's been busy.
Yeah.
Life in.
You still doing the same?
There's Slice.
Same stuff. You still like doing the bar stuff and
No, I'm still bartending, and yeah, I've been bartending and doing like Lyft and just fucking hustling. It's like I'm just single girl in the world, you know. I've got to
right.
hard to make it in this economy alone.
Yeah, this economy's terrible. This is
Yeah,
like,
it fucking sucks.
and I mean, I've now been an adult long enough to actually realize the effects of inflation. Like you kind of know about it before you're an adult, but I mean, I think I'm quite a bit younger than you are, but I've still been an adult for a long enough time where now I'm able to see, hey, thanks, Ben, for the snow. I'm able to see like, dude, I used to pay this for this. I used to think that, $12 an hour was holy shit. If I could just get there, I mean, that's leaps and bounds above what I could think I could ever make. But $12 an
Right.
hour would be sweet. And now here I am sitting like, holy crap, man. If I had made only $20 an hour, that would be outrageously low.
Right. Like, I mean, I do well for myself, like out here in Vegas. Like, service industry is like it's good out here. Like, I make good money. Um,
We're gonna get a guest appearance from my son. He's crying and needs a bottle. Entertain
oh,
everybody for a moment here while I grab him.
okay, cool. Hola, everyone in the audience. Hmm.
Whoops. Clicked the wrong button.
Commercial. We're gonna have anime lobes in the background. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen anybody in a while. I haven't been live at all, really. I've been doing life out here in Vegas. It's been interesting. Yep, good to see you, everybody. Thought I'd pop up and say, "Oh, how's my book coming? My book's coming good. It's really good. And that's kind of like where I've been spending most of my free time. Like if I'm not, just doing life, like whether it's like socializing or working. Usually I've just been so spent on my energy when it comes to just like working. Like I'm just kind of all tapped out on my peopling because I'm in the hospitality. I'm like constantly entertaining people and doing that in my free time with this is kind of, it's hard to keep up with it because you don't always feel like being on camera and entertaining people. But my book is going to be a deconstruction book. I'm definitely excited for it. It's memoir and scholarly sources. And I have my education in biblical studies, so it's going to be an atheist book. I'm basically gonna like most of the topics. It's just I'm going over what deconstructed me. So it's very personal. I'm just kind of like going. You expect to have a signed copy, of course. Yes, Sliced. If you want a signed copy of my book, I'm totally down with it. But yeah, it's gonna be, similar to, kind of like what John Loftus did, like why I became an atheist. Yeah, gonna kind of go over everything that deconstructed me. Because I feel like my deconstruction was kind of like a death of like 1,000 paper cuts. It wasn't just one thing that led to my deconstruction. How did I start deconstructing? Well, I mean, I went to school. I went to school for the Bible, and I deconstructed towards the end of my educational career. A lot of it had to do with the two main things that really deconstructed me was textual criticism of the Bible and just overall like theodicy, the problem of evil and suffering in the face of an all-knowing, all-loving, omniscient creator. And that pretty much deconstructed me. But it was kind of a slow burn. I think the first thing I deconstructed was my eschatology, which was dispensationalism. And just, I don't know, when you learn the Bible at my level, it's just kind of like hard to unsee certain things. That's why the title of my book is going to be Behind the Curtain. So, because I always reference it to like the Wizard of Oz. You learn enough shit, you see basically the wizard behind the curtain, and it's really hard to unsee the wizard once you've seen the wizard of the Bible.
That's exciting.
Can't unsee the wizard. Yeah. That's what I've been doing. That's why I haven't been live and stuff. I've been trying to spend the free time writing.
Yeah, I always think I want to write a book, and then I just don't have. I don't think I have that in me, realistically. Like, I think that if I even had the discipline to sit down and write, it just wouldn't be worded well. It wouldn't be poetic enough or whatever.
Right. I give a shout out to you, Lobes, in my book.
Oh, you
along with a lot of other, my introduction, and I definitely mentioned the community.
Cool.
So I'm going to kind of try to do what like CBJ does, like promote my book once it's finished, or John Cohen, like he does the same thing, like he's an author as well, and he's,
some cool shit.
It is cool shit.
Yeah, I started early tonight. Usually I'm done with the baby by now. Or by the time I start. But now I guess this is why I don't usually start this early. Because I'll have to sit here like this. And y'all love him, but it's like, it's hard to run the stream with you. It's hard. Because I don't want the
Hey,
light
Sebastian.
to keep him up.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Well, we're still waiting for a guest. I don't think there's anybody. Let me check things.
Right? I mean, if you want, I can read like the introduction of my book. If you're interested, I don't like want to like take hijack your stream or anything.
No,
I can do that.
We don't have anybody requesting, so just go ahead.
Just thought maybe I could help you with some filler.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, I'm not that great with the filler.
Yeah, introduction, the beginning of the end. So the name of my book is called Behind the Curtain. People often assume that leaving Christianity is easy. They often imagine rebellion, laziness, bitterness, sin, a desire to escape moral accountability. But for me, deconstruction was not liberation at first. It was very much a collapse of a belief system that at one point I wholeheartedly believed. It was the slow unraveling of an entire framework through which I understood reality itself. And the cruel irony is that it began because I cared too much about truth. I did not leave Christianity because I stopped studying. I left because I could not stop studying. For most of my life, Christianity was not merely a religion, it was an operating system underneath reality itself. It shaped my morality, my purpose, identity, politics, relationships, fear, hope. It informed and shaped my future, the afterlife, the meaning of suffering, and my understanding of the structure of human history and the ultimate destiny of humanity. I was raised inside a deeply evangelical framework, saturated with apologetics, biblical certainty, end times theology, and the conviction that Christianity was not only spiritually true, but intellectually untouchable. I inherited a world where the Bible was treated as divine revelation, preserved providentially throughout history. A world where prophecy proved inspiration. Apologetics proved the resurrection of Jesus, where the manuscript evidence demonstrated reliability. A world where any doubt of the latter often felt morally dangerous. And because I genuinely cared about that truth, I embraced that system wholeheartedly. As an adult in my late 20s, I studied the Bible and theology seriously at an academic level. I immersed myself in apologetics. I wrestled with the philosophy. I read church history, and I defended Christianity passionately. I was on fire for the Lord, quote unquote, and I was not looking for a way out. On the contrary, I thought I was equipping myself for a life and career in Christian ministries in China as a full-time missionary. I genuinely cared, and I was trying desperately to strengthen my faith's foundations so I'd be well equipped and ready to give a defense for the hope that was in me, 1 Peter 3:15. But eventually, the deeper I dug into theology, textual criticism, church history, manuscript evidence, canon formation, authorship debates, eschatology, systematic theology, and the apologetics, the certainty I inherited began dissolving beneath me. And suddenly, the rock that I built my proverbial house on was actually just sand from the beginning. It left me crushed, disappointed, sad, and heartbroken. At first, the problem seemed isolated. A contradiction here, an interpolation there, a disputed authorship claim that ruptured my confidence in its authority. I would discover failed prophecies or historical inconsistencies that contradicted actual historical evidence or archaeology. And I discovered theological contradictions. I would twist myself into pretzels, trying to make it make sense so it could align with my denominational leanings. Then I would run into manuscript problems or a scientific apologetic argument that sounded far more confident than the underlying evidence justified. I'm looking at you, Answers in Genesis. But eventually, the issues stopped feeling isolated. They started connecting and clicking together in ways I hadn't anticipated. The same circularity appeared everywhere. The same institutional self-validation, the same selective scholarship, the same rhetorical inflation of certainty, the same deeply human fingerprints embedded throughout the tradition. And once those patterns became blatantly visible to me, my entire belief structure began collapsing underneath its own weight. This book is not merely an argument against Christianity. There are already so many of those. It is a memoir of what it feels like when a totalitizing worldview slowly stops making sense from the inside. It is about growing up traumatized by dispensationalist rapture theology. It's about discovering that much of the modern evangelical eschatology traces back to a man by the name of John Nelson Darby, rather than any apostolistic consensus. It's about what happens to your confidence when realizing and accepting that all four Gospels are actually anonymous. It is about coming to the realization that Moses almost certainly did not write the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. It is about confronting the feelings behind reality of textual variation, the documentary hypothesis, manuscript gaps, canon disputes, church politics, the pseudepigraphy behind the epistles, and the interpolation and later edits within extra biblical evidence, like in Josephus, and gaining a clearer picture of the theological evolution of Christian thought. It is about discovering that early Christianity was not one unified movement, but a landscape of competing Christianities struggling for legitimacy, and how they stood no chance against the Roman Empire once it adopted Christianity as its official religion. It's about learning about Marcion's influence on the Gospels, Eusebius, Constantine, and the eyebrow-raising antics of the Church Fathers. It's about the realization that typology is the driver behind most of prophetic reinterpretation. It's about the collapse of my belief in biblical inerrancy, the violent history behind fragmentation of the church, and the emotional violence of apologetics that still grasp the minds of Christians today. And the devastating realization that the certainty projected from the pulpits often far exceeds what the evidence itself can comfortably sustain. This book is also deeply personal to me. It's about family rejection, identity, isolation, fear, trauma, and the crushing loneliness of deconstruction. It's about the existential vertigo that comes when the metaphysical framework governing your life suddenly begins disintegrating. People who have never gone through this process often imagine deconstruction as some kind of edgy intellectual rebellion. In reality, it often feels more like grief, the death of certainty, the death of identity, the death of community, the death of a future, and eternal destiny I imagined long dreamed about. It's about moments where I deeply wished I could force myself to believe again, the moments where certainty itself felt emotionally safer than honesty. But eventually I encountered a truth that became impossible to escape. You cannot choose your beliefs. Not really. You can pretend, you can suppress doubt, you can compartmentalize, you can emotionally cling to inherited conclusions. But once your mind genuinely recognizes something as unconvincing, forced belief becomes psychologically impossible. You cannot force yourself to believe that 2 + 2 = 5. That is why, throughout my deconstruction journey, it eventually started feeling so much like an allegory of the Wizard of Oz. From the start, I thought going to Oz and meeting the wizard was my destiny, and no wicked witch was going to stop me. For most of my life, Christianity felt enormous, mystical, untouchable, and authoritative. But the deeper I traveled down the yellow brick road of scholarship and history, the more the illusion started straining under scrutiny. And at first, the curtain only fluttered slightly, but eventually, I saw the wizard behind it. Not in the sense that I suddenly believed every religious person was malicious or intentionally deceptive, but in the sense that I could finally see the profoundly human machinery operating underneath what I had once viewed as untouchably divine. And once you see the wizard, you cannot go back to seeing the pure magic behind it all. That realization was heartbreaking, but it was also transformative because for the first time in my life, I felt like I was confronting reality honestly rather than merely preserving certainty emotionally. This book is the story of that collapse and what remained after the curtain finally fell. That's just my introduction.
I think that was very well written, and
Yeah.
I think that you touched on a lot of really important points. That's a really good preface. It is important to acknowledge that when people leave religion, especially Christianity, that it is a lot of the time a process of grief. It was like that for me. I mean, I still even have moments of grief. And I mean, I do
I'm
this
still, I mean, I
all the time.
was kind of getting a little choked up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we went through a very similar like situation with religious deconstruction. You were more academic than I was. I just started like wondering if I existed and stuff, you know? Like I was just like questioning everything. The more that I think about this stuff and the more I talk to people who have gone through the same thing, the more I look into it, the more I learn about it, and the more I'm amazed at how people can still believe in it. And the people who believe in it that I meet, by and large, know very little about it. Like they
know the propaganda. They know the basically the institutional indoctrination talking points. Right. But they don't really know, the church history. I mean, I went to there was a time where I was having a conversation in a Bible study group. And I'm talking about Paul, and one of the ladies is like, "Who's Paul?
Who's Paul? The guy that you guys like more than Jesus." The guy.
It's just it's from. Exactly. And this lady was been going to the church a long time. It's just are you even here when you're here? Like, why are you like? How did you not learn this?
Who's Paul? That's
Who's
crazy.
Paul? Exactly.
Oh, Paul. That's that monkey at the end of Jimmy Neutron with a third eye. That's who Paul is.
Yeah, it's that Paul guy.
He decides to remind you every single time. Hi, I'm Paul. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. Red is the shit.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I miss our little like we were a good team on the Secular Perspective. I kind of like I'm sad that fell
I was
apart.
thinking about that earlier today. The Secular Perspective. Very proud of that name. It's a damn shame.
Right. I know.
It imploded the way that it did.
It was tragic.
I
I
really
was
start getting traction too. We were gonna have Darren as a co-host.
I
at the end
know.
of January, and we were gonna have Justin as a co-host as well.
Right.
Who's gonna host it?
He eventually interviewed me though. Like I did like an interview with Justin that one time on my live. And then I was like, yeah, if you go back on Justin's story, like I co-hosted on his show once, on I think it was January 21st. So people want to hear me with Justin. That's the show.
Yeah. I do have a couple people requesting. I'm gonna.
Yeah, no problem. I can. Yeah, you can send me, back down to the chat or whatever. I just wanted to come up and say like hi, and I didn't want to start my own live because then.
Well, what
I can't just jump off like this.
I've got to put him down, change his diaper, wrap him up, put him down. So it'll just be a few minutes. But okay. we can do one of two things. We could have you entertain like last time, but I think you might have potentially ran through all your material, but unless you have something else. Or
I have 30,000 words written already, so I have plenty more to read if people want to hear more. But
yeah, sure. Why don't you get into that, and I'll finish up with Chester here, and then I'll be right back, and we can get into conversations.
Yeah, no worries. So what did I know Slice liked the introduction. Does anybody else have any feedback? Nice. Love it. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's see here where I left off. Why am I writing this book? One of the reasons I felt compelled to write this book is because deconstruction deserves to be talked about honestly, not caricatured, not dismissed, not reduced to lazy stereotypes about rebellion, bitterness, ignorance, or wanting to sin. I'm writing this book because I know I am not alone. There are countless people quietly going through a profound existential collapse of their faith and belief while feeling completely isolated because of the communities they came from often do not know how to engage these conversations compassionately. People sitting in the pews every Sunday wrestling with doubts they are terrified to voice. People losing family relationships. People grieving the collapse of their own certainty for whatever reason. And the reality is this: deconstruction is far more common than many churches want to admit, especially in the age of the internet, where for the first time in history, ordinary people suddenly have direct access to scholarship, textual criticism, church history, manuscript evidence, and secular historians that offer alternative viewpoints that previous generations often never encountered in their bubble of religious influence. People are no longer limited to only the theological ecosystem they were born into. And once those conversations begin, they often cannot be stopped. One of the things that helped me survive my own deconstruction journey was discovering that I was not alone. There is an enormous and growing deconstruction community online made up of former pastors, former missionaries, former worship leaders, former apologists, former seminarians, former evangelicals, progressive believers, and deeply wounded people all trying to make sense of their faith journey collapsing on itself. And I found much of that community on TikTok. Honestly, this community is still a lifeline to me to this day. Not because everyone agrees on everything, not because they all reach identical conclusions, but because they created a space where difficult questions could finally be asked openly. Spaces where doubt was not immediately treated like a moral failure. Spaces where scholarship mattered. Spaces where trauma could be acknowledged honestly, and where people could wrestle publicly with their own personal collapse of certainty. I want to acknowledge some of those creators and voices who have been a part of that broader landscape. Justin from Deconstruction Zone, Forrest Valkai, Godless Engineer, Dalton the Bible Guy, Joel Reads the Bible, Mezzo, Jaron Wingo, aka Christ Before Jesus, Lobes the Absurdist, hello, we're on the show right now, Tiny Science, Thrail, John Cohen, Allegedly Ian, Dr. Blitz, Daniel Green, A Girl's Gone Godless, Born Again Atheist, Critically Crystal J, and myself, Redheaded Trouble. Love your enthusiasm, Slice. But beyond themselves, I also want to acknowledge the countless followers, commenters in the chat, friends, lurkers, doubters, survivors, hurting people inside those communities, and yes, even the Christians that come to debate us. Many of them are carrying invisible wounds, religious trauma, familial rejection, fear, existential anxiety, isolation, or an identity crisis. Many are trying to rebuild themselves from scratch after realizing the worldview they inherited no longer makes sense to them. And honestly, I think many churches profoundly underestimate how psychologically devastating this process can become. Deconstruction is not simply changing your mind or being caught up in rebellion. For many people, it feels like surviving the collapse of your reality itself. That is why these conversations matter. That is why these communities matter. Because stories like mine deserve to be told, not merely debated, not merely corrected, not merely pathologized, but heard. And even if people ultimately disagree with my conclusions or are offended by my objections that led me astray, quote unquote, I still believe there is enormous value in honesty in documenting what this process actually feels like from the inside. Because deconstruction is not some fringe phenomenon anymore. It's an entire generation of people pulling back the curtain and realizing they can no longer pretend to not see the wizard standing there. I want to hear you tell Justin. Oh God. I think I remember you. Are you the black Hebrew Israelite? Is that one of those? Is that what you are? I don't know. He's in the comments chirping, saying Justin's running. Well, I appreciate everyone's support right now. I am working on this book. I'm hoping to have it done by November. That's my target goal. But again, I'm just a single girl, trying to survive right now. So life is life, and I'll definitely ship one to you, Sebastian.
All right. That was cool.
All right. Well, if you want to drop me down, or I can stay a little bit if you want me to for a debate.
Yeah, I don't mind. I haven't interacted with you in a while, so yeah, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
Let me bring up.
What's the book
Oh,
name? My
um,
Forehead and I, The Final Frontier. What the fuck?
Slice wants to come up. Hey, Slice.
Hey!
Hey, it's nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, I don't get on lives much, so
I think this is the first
um
I've ever like seen you on a live spliced.
yeah, yeah, it is. I don't do it much. But Red, I'm really excited about your book, and I think you need to do an audiobook, but you gotta do it. You gotta read it, and your little fuck ups, in the sentences and shit, like that needs to stay. Like there is such a like a personal feeling when it's not perfect.
All right. I mean, I'm definitely gonna do an audiobook. We'll see how it goes. But thank you. Like, thanks for that feedback, Slice.
Yeah, I love it. Listening to your intro was like awesome. It was so like deep, but like kind of nonchalant. So that was really cool.
It was cool.
It was really cool. Um,
I appreciate it,
I
guys. I mean,
can,
this has been kind of a labor of love. I've just, that introduction took me a long. I mean, I've really put a lot of work into it, and rewritten it to flow the way it does now.
yeah, yeah. No, but I really think you reading it. If you do an audiobook, like actually you reading it will be like so much more. I don't even know how to say it. Like so much more like personal.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like
definitely. I mean, it's gonna be it's my first book, so I'm probably will do the audiobook for my first book.
yeah.
Yeah.
So leave the fuck ups. Leave
Well, I mean, when
the
I
run
record,
out of
I'm obviously
breath.
gonna want to like. I'm kind of a perfectionist. Like, I'm definitely gonna want to make sure that it's. It takes a long time. I was talking to John Cohen about this. He was saying that like doing
Yeah.
audiobooks is like it takes a lot longer than you think.
Have you talked to Zach at all?
Oh, Zach Lazar Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's aware of my book yet. I don't know if he's even knows I'm writing it. But yeah, I'm sure he does that kind of stuff all the time. I'm sure he could give me some great tips on how to do it.
Yeah, he does audiobooks. He did two in the last few months, and they were really, really good.
He does more like nonfiction stuff, though, right? Or fiction, I should say rather.
Yeah, he does a
Zach?
lot of stories.
Uh,
He does a lot of commercials. He's currently acting in some horror movie that's gonna be coming out at some point on all the streaming services, but he can't tell us what the title is.
Right?
He's the bad guy.
I've seen his posts on that. He's got like
Yeah.
this like
He
epic
looks like
like
Kratos.
like something from
He
like the
does.
1930s beard, like very villain-esque.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
Yes,
on, Slice.
exactly.
I'm gonna see. I think I have another guest here. It
sorry.
was nice to hear your voice, man. Yeah, it's really cool to see
Can
you.
I-
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's nice hearing your voice, Sliced. You've always been a super enthusiastic fan.
Yeah, I'm very enthusiastic. I love people who have kind of dealt with the same shit that I dealt with growing up and all that kind of thing. Between you, Red, and Lobes, like we have very similar stories, so it's a very similar um, upbringing to a degree. So it's yeah, I really how do you say that? Like I really connect with you guys very all too well. All too well. But yep. All right, kick me.
All right. Thanks,
Lowe's
Slice.
is
I'll
not.
catch you next time. Thank you for coming up, man. Slice 78,
Wow, we got
everybody.
some Christian. Yeah, he's great.
Let's see if we have. Hey, Ben Official. Are you at least 18?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What God do you believe in, Ben?
I honestly don't know.
Well, where are you at on the? I mean, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the creator of the universe?
I do, but it's a optimistic view versus pessimism.
Okay. Well, what's your best evidence for God?
I like to think that when we die, there's something else.
So
I mean,
it's-
I was raised
it
Catholic.
literally is just an optimism that you have, like a hope. It's faith.
I guess, but
Because you understand, like, wanting something to be the case is not enough to, like, justify a belief that something is the case.
no, it just sucks if it's the other way.
Right. Yeah, that's what I went through. I definitely did not want Christianity to be false, but I came to the conclusion that I wasn't able to justify it. So, and Redhead too. We both had to wrestle with that. So, we couldn't justify
So what's
it,
our
so we were able to
what's our
believe it.
point then? Like what do we like? What's
You get to
Well,
find your
that's-
purpose.
That's up to you to kind of unpack for yourself, but for the purposes of tonight's discussion, we're trying to find somebody who wants to provide evidence for God. Do you have an argument that you like to put forward, or should I move on?
well, no. I think that God does exist because I can't. I mean, things have happened in my life that I can't explain that would be godly.
And what's the criteria that you set that was met by what you would say is God? Like, how do you know that God is what caused these unlikely events?
See, the thing is, I don't know.
Then do you have any justification? Any, like, rational justification?
I guess not.
It seems like you just
Just
got a lot of
faith.
faith. Man, if I were you, what I would recommend is that if you value truth, you have to ask yourself that, like, do I value truth? And answer honestly. If the answer is yes, then what you ought to do is wager your faith when thinking about these things, right? Because if you wager your faith, that means that you trust that the truth will lead you to whatever is right. The evidence, the thoughts that you have, it will direct you to the path of least resistance. It's going to lead you to parsimony. It's going to help you with the data collection and analyzation.
what do you do for your job? Because you talk a lot like me.
I work in a warehouse.
Are you a like maintenance?
No, I'm a supervisor.
Okay. I'm a maintenance electrician and mechanic.
Well, Ben, that's just my advice to you. I would say wager your faith and come to your conclusion as unbiased as possible. I'm going to move on. You have a good night. Thank you. Feels like it's late for Ben. All right, we got Puss coming up. Hey, Puss, are you at least 18?
We are Charlie Kirk.
Thanks, Puss.
Wow.
I think I might do a restart just because, you know, um, it was sort of a delayed start with the no guests. Then I had to like leave for a while, and now we don't have a lot of guests here, and the viewership is lower than it's been in a long time. So I think I might just do a quick restart. If you're not
Oh, yeah,
following
no
me,
worries.
if you guys aren't following me, follow me real quick so you can easily find me when I restart this thing over on TikTok. I don't know if anybody's over on YouTube right now. Let me see.
Awesome. Did you want me to come back or?
Yeah, you can come back if you want to. Sure.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, give
All right, see you in a
give me
sec.
follow Redheaded Trouble, and I'll see you guys in just a moment.
You carved your name into our fear. Spoke in smoke, swore you were the sky itself, the air in our lungs. But the spell snapped like glass in my hands. I walked out of your shadow and you can't track where I stand. You can't hear my thoughts anymore. Your crown is cracked on the floor. I will tear your life from their eyes till your kingdom stands no more. You can't hear my prayers like before. None left for you to ignore. I will drag the truth through the fire till you're just a ruined lore. You fed us famine, then sold us hope. Branded our backs, hate came with the cup. Now every slave is learning your tricks. I'll break these chains in daylight, even if it gets me killed. Come on! You can't hear my thoughts anymore. Your crown is cracked on the floor. I will tear your lies from their eyes till your kingdom stands no more. You can't hear my prayers like before. None left for you to ignore. I will drag the truth through the fire till you're just a ruined lore.
So I'm going to Pride with the Girls Gone Godless
Oh yeah.
in San Francisco. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Christina, Dr. Ajam's gonna be there.
Yeah. Pixar didn't happen. Yeah. I'm gonna cut that off. It's too loud. Yeah. Pixar didn't happen. That's exciting. You're gonna have to post about that.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure. I think everybody will be posting stuff. I'm
Who all
gonna like
going?
bring all my
Just you with
bartending.
those three, or is there gonna be?
It's me, Dr. Ajem, and Christina for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll-
And then I think Katie, Holy Ghosty Katie's gonna be there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Noe is gonna show up.
You said you
too.
don't
So
think?
I don't know. No, I think she might. I'm not sure. Like I think she has something with her. Got to figure some stuff out. But definitely know Christina's coming. And Dr. Gems, like I'm picking her ass up from the airport.
I think I've been to Pride once, but I don't know. I think like because it would have been years ago. Hey, thanks, Board Agnostic.
It's going to be like the first time I've ever gone to San Francisco, so I'm pretty stoked for it.
Is there like a main Pride event? Is that like the San
Yeah, it's like
Francisco
on
one?
market. Yeah, I think the activities start. It's like Friday and Saturday.
Because I didn't know that. I just figured that everybody had their own local Pride. Because we have like where I live, there's like a Pride event that they do.
Oh yeah. So I'm stoked for it. Really am, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're excited. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Hmm. I have to get. I'm actually like picking up some stuff from dispensary tomorrow for people because like some of the people that are coming like can't like they don't have access to it, and so I'm just like
Right.
getting it here. I don't do that, but
Yeah, you can be their dispenser.
hmm
I want to make a joke about Spencer, Radio Spencer, and Dispenser. I feel like there's something there that I could do. I want to hit him with
he's
that.
untouchable right now. He's grieving.
He is grieving. He was in the chat
Yeah.
the last time though. Hey,
Oh,
Arias, are
okay.
you at least 18?
Oh yeah, I'm. Wait, hang on. Am I double that? I'm 34. So.
Okay, great. Well, what God do you believe in?
Honestly, none of them. I wouldn't say I'm atheist because doesn't atheist mean that I believe there is no God or deity or any sort?
It just means
No,
you're.
it doesn't. It doesn't
It
have
just
to be
means you're.
emphatic.
It just means you're not a theist.
Okay, I got you. I just thought because I thought there was another word for that. It's like thought it started like either the letter N or the letter M. I don't remember
Yeah,
which.
you're thinking of agnostic. Yeah, that's that has to do with your state of knowledge, whereas being an atheist just means you're not a theist.
I got you. I mean, I don't really know exactly what I would be like. I think that there is a big possibility that there is something, but at the same time, the stuff like the Bible stuff, or and all that. Like, I don't really think that. I think that
Well,
was people.
maybe we can help. So, what is your biggest reason for thinking that there's a good possibility that there's a God?
I would say because it's a 50-50 kind of point of view where I don't think humans will ever be smart enough to prove or disprove what's actually there.
So here's the thing. People will say it's 50-50. I think that's true in only one sense, where 50% of the options is there is a God, and 50% is there is not a God. But I wouldn't say there's a 50% chance that there's a God. I mean, we don't have really any evidence of God existing, and I don't think that we categorically could have empirical evidence, as God would be something that's transcendent of the natural world. He's supposed to be metaphysical, transcendental, so we wouldn't really be able to find evidence of God. So there would be zero evidence of God, which would leave our probability at 0, or maybe whatever's the smallest number just above 0.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I do. I don't know. It's like, I mean, maybe our way of thinking of a God is not exactly what's actually there. Like, it might not have a mind like what we've got, but I don't know. I have no idea. I can't see it. It don't talk to me. I just live my life my way. I try to be good though.
Okay. So anyway, do you have any other reason why you think there's maybe a God?
Say that again.
Do you have any reason specifically why you think there might be a God, other than just a feeling that there's like a chance?
No, not really. I mean, like I said, though, like either there is or isn't. Like, I don't really have anything to do with it because whatever it is, if there is something, it don't talk to me.
All right. Well, thank you for coming up, man. I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Let's bring up the next guest. Hey, Slowa Benz, you least 18?
What's up? How you doing, bro?
I'm great. I hope you are. You least 18?
Yeah, I'm 22.
What God do you believe in?
God,
Which one?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. And what's your best
God.
evidence for God?
So, I'm gonna tell you a story.
Is
This
it going to
happened.
be is it going to be like anecdotal evidence?
This happened to an actual person that I know, and
Because
anyways,
if you tell a story of like a
right.
testimony of you or somebody else, this is going to be anecdotal, and I mean I would save you your breath. It's not really going to be compelling for the purposes of the discussion.
You don't want to hear it?
No, not if it's just going to be an anecdotal experience.
Why do you think that's good evidence?
Because of the severity of what happened. It has to do a lot with suicide, and
Okay.
Let's be careful
So-
about the language. I think that's one of those
for
buzzwords
sure.
that still is kind of tricky.
Yeah, you gotta
I'm a lot
say like
looser than the other
smooth.
people, but
oh,
Like,
for sure, bro.
I feel like that
Yeah,
one might be
like-
one of those ones.
yeah, you gotta kind of like twist the words like in Rick and Morty.
Okay. Sorry.
Love
So,
Shmoo aside.
anyways,
There's a shoe
um,
inside.
he's a
There's a
really
shoe
good
inside.
kid. He's a really good kid, right? He started doing drugs, right? He started going down that path in life, falling deep into depression, and it was really hard to watch. And eventually, he came to the conclusion that he did not want to live on this planet anymore. And so we live in kind of a smaller town in Utah, and we have this pond that has a bridge going over it, right? And it's a pretty deep pond. Anyways, he went one day, filled a backpack full of rocks, and tied as well a big boulder to himself. And he said he made sure to tie it really tight because he didn't want it to come loose. And he jumped off that bridge into the pond. And so his closest friend, my cousin, got a really bad feeling. And he was just like, I haven't talked to this friend in a while. I'm going to see if he's okay. He checks his location and sees this text message that he sent. And it's that kind of message that you
Slice blocked him.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Slice
I
blocked
mean,
him.
sliced. Yeah, sliced. We get it, but at the same time, it's like,
Don't abuse the power slice. Oh, he's
I just
paid?
think that, I mean, it's very like anecdotal.
It wasn't gonna go anywhere. Let's try another person here. GI Robot Brian, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 34. How are you?
I'm great. Hope you are. What God do you believe in?
I'm a non-theistic Satanist.
Oh, word.
So
What's
the
up?
kind of atheist then.
Yeah, no,
W.
yeah, W. No, I appreciate you. No, I just wanted to jump up. I'm sure you've had a ton of mansplaining all day. I just wanted to jump up and share some love. I think you guys are doing really good work.
Oh,
Well,
thank
thanks.
you.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. We're sort
Absolutely.
of a little bit slow to start here. I haven't really had a very compelling
We have like
conversation
80
yet.
people in here.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's really interesting. I would, I guess, want to be bold since I'm right here. I think the three of us might have evidence for I don't know, an atheistic belief, which is really interesting. But I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean, there's definitely some philosophical evidence to be had for the non-existence of God. Just depends on how you define the thing.
Yeah, I'm no good at the whole like debate language and everything, but no, I just think you guys are doing really cool work.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that, man.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you guys have
hail
a dope night.
Satan.
Hail Satan, hail Satan. Have the coolest night. Bye bye, guys.
Good night. Yeah, that's cool. I love the opportunity to throw the horns and say "Hail Satan." I'm not a Satanist, but I just
Yeah.
like it's kind of cathartic, on the inside, where it's like that used to be such a big no-no, and now it's like
Oh, I
it's not
know.
real, so it feels good and liberating to be able to say that shit.
I mean, it's just fun. It's to me, it's just you're poking fun at it more than anything. It's more of
Right.
a troll.
Right. It's like what you've got the child that's afraid of the boogeyman, and the parents are like, "Watch out for the boogeyman," the hail boogeyman, like as a joke, and then the child is like freaked out that the child would be like the Christian in this case. They're like, "Hail Satan!" Oh yeah, Satan, no. But it's like we don't. This is like a fairy tale. It's not a real thing. It doesn't even make logical sense than the theology. Like, why would you create your own nemesis just to like wait around and like defeat him at the end of time for no reason?
Right.
What the fuck?
I mean, Satan really isn't even a part of like too much of the Bible.
Yeah,
I
it's like
mean,
this.
maybe you see him more in the New Testament than anywhere else. I mean, you have this really obscure thing with Job, but I mean, it's obviously more of like a divine comedy. Like, I feel like Job isn't even like I don't believe there was a person
No,
called Job.
no,
Like, it's definitely just it's definitely
the
like it's not
scholarship around
it's
it, to my
it's fiction.
understanding. Yeah,
It's
I
fiction.
think a lot of scholars will say that it's fiction.
hmm
And I think that's the best position to hold for theology as well. Like, if you don't take that
Right.
shit literally, because God's got a counsel. He's got a guy who's like an accuser who's bringing things to God's attention. And it's like, dude, if
hmm
you want to say that he's omniscient, man should not have a fucking council, right? He shouldn't have people who are like getting information for him. It's like, let me go check this shit out. Like, this should not
Yeah.
exist. Like, it's just,
Oh, and
it's
I think
dumb.
a perfect example of that is like the Tower of Babel, right? Like all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like God has to come down, like to check to see if like what's being reported to him is true. Like let me go
Right.
see for this.
Well, that
Let me go
was
down to Earth and see for it
that was
myself.
Sodom and Gomorrah, wasn't it? Maybe it was Tower of
That
Babel as
too.
well.
It was Tower of Babel. Well, that's because like yeah,
Tower of Babel's
it was
hilarious.
Babel. It is a
It's
hilarious
so funny
story.
because
It's so
the punishment is like you're gonna split their languages. I know this is gonna fuck up me trying to communicate my perfect message to them later. They're gonna have to try to translate it into all these bajillions of languages, but fuck it. I mean, YOLO, I suppose. Like, who cares if some people go to hell? I don't. God, I don't care. I'm just God. I don't give a shit.
yeah, and God's
None
all
of them
about
matter.
yeeting people. Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna blame them. It's your fault that you didn't get the gospel message, and so you're gonna burn in hell for all eternity. Like,
Right.
I split the languages because your grandparents did something. You should have thought about that before you were born to those parents. Idiot.
Right. Exactly. Let me fabricate this thing called sin,
I know.
and everybody's sinful.
Hey, Urban Enoch, are you at least 18?
Yeah, man.
All right, what God do you
Urban
believe?
Enoch.
Well, before I comment on that,
Well, what God do you believe?
um, I believe in a creator.
Just a generic one, or is there a specific religion that's from?
It's not from a religion necessarily. I believe that a lot of the religions and cultures across the world point to it, including Aboriginal beliefs in various continents.
Okay. So what's your best evidence for God?
Well, that's a great question. Um, and I think you touched on it earlier when you said having some sort of metric by which to ascertain the nature or existence of something we may not necessarily know how to define with the scientific method would be it wouldn't really render much, because when we say what is evidence, what type of evidence would you look for in an experiment or something?
Me, for God, I mean, I don't think that there really can be such a thing as empirical evidence for this thing that's supposed to be transcendental to us, all metaphysical and everything. So I think that the best thing I could really hope for is some kind of philosophical argument, aside from God just revealing himself to me directly. I think that the best
Sure.
thing a person could do, like a human being, is to give me some kind of logical argument that makes sense.
Okay. And I being as somebody who's leaning more on the spiritual side, I would agree with what you just said. I think biological conclusions, I look at it at many different things. Just recently, I was looking into quantum entanglement and the non-local characteristics of the observable universe. And when you get into that realm of study, it pretty much is saying that it's like a video game, where the older video games where the background wasn't rendered until you're looking at it. And we're observing some of those phenomenon in what we consider the universe we exist in. And when I look at characteristics like that, to me, it makes sense internally that if it doesn't exist theoretically until you look at it, then that means there is a direct connection between the observer and the matter, whether that's a transcendental level
Well,
or a
it
metaphysical
has
or
to do with
quantum.
interaction when like the word
Yeah.
observe is because the way that we look at these particles that are in superposition, we fire a laser at it in order to measure this thing. So it's being bombarded with photons, and that's always going to affect it. So it's like
Right.
us looking at it, our tech, it fucks with it.
Mhm. And I think that's exactly what you just said is why it makes more sense to me, because when you said there's not necessarily a usable metric to ascertain something, it's just like a magnetic field. You cannot directly observe a magnetic field. You can only observe how it affects other things, but it is nonetheless present in everything that we do.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, well, with
Sounds like you're
quantum,
blending a lot of stuff with like simulation theory.
Well, do you guys think that that's a possibility?
I
Simulation theory?
suppose,
I
I
I
suppose it's
guess I don't think
possible.
so. I've
I
seen
don't.
like
Go
Neil
ahead.
deGrasse Tyson has like entertained that before, but I don't think he subscribes to it.
It's one of those things where I think it's definitely more likely than God, because it's at least a natural explanation. Even though it would be transcendental to us, it doesn't posit any kind of like magic, where God is all about magic and existing before time somehow, and being all powerful, all like knowing and all good, which doesn't comport with our reality. So like it definitely, like the simulation thing, I don't believe in it. I would need to see some kind of evidence for it. In quantum entanglement, it raises an eyebrow. But I think that there's a lot of misconceptions that come with quantum entanglement and with the
Sure.
wave function collapsing when you look at a particle that's in superposition.
Right.
There's a lot of conclusions that are jumped to by people who don't understand the science. And I used to be one of those people, and now I still don't understand the science, but I refrain from jumping to conclusions now. Because I've heard it
I think
explained
I
to me a
think
few
alternate
times.
realities are possible.
Why
I
do you believe
suppose,
in
like,
that? Why do you think that's possible?
It's just I don't know. I mean, I just think it's a plausible thing that there could be other realities behind. Like I don't know. There could be
Beyond
multiple.
the
Yeah, I
spectrum?
think that. Well, I just think there could be multiple versions of our world. Like
there's not a
yeah,
contradiction entailed
I
to
don't
it.
know. But yeah, I don't know. My best thing is like I just don't know. I know Christianity isn't true. I know that much.
That's very that's a very concrete statement.
Mhm.
Um, I think when we look at, so one of the things I enjoy is etymology and the study of phonetic emanations across cultures. So if you say be in one language, if you go all the way back to Demotic scripts and the things that were on ancient tablets and things in Sumerian, you get a deeper understanding. And to then further on top of that, when you look at the things that these people achieved architecturally, mathematically, scientifically, they were just doing and astronomically, literally counting and mapping stars. I think it's a strange thing to say that cultures of the past that have done so many marvelous things with a great deal of intellect, but also had transcendental pantheons, monotheistic, all these things, all these different beliefs and practices, that they were these two things were not married, and that these people were ignorant.
It sounds like, it sounds like how we are today, where we can do all that same stuff today, but we still have a bunch of people who like fallaciously believe in pantheons and gods and stuff. Like, as smart as we consider ourselves to be, we still have people who believe in fairy tales and magic. Like, I think that's just a human nature. We fill in the gaps of our understanding, partially for comfort, partially for like, well, I guess comfort is kind of like a good umbrella, but like for your existential dread, like coping with your mortality, needing purpose, wanting to feel like you're the main character, feeling like
Getting high on that
loved.
copium.
Yeah, copium. Needing to feel like the feeling of never feeling alone. Like, you got somebody who's watching your back, who's like the biggest, meanest kid in class. Yeah, I think
Sure.
that's just like a human thing that people do. Yeah, and I think that it's not. I think it's impressive that ancient civilizations can do these amazing feats of construction. But human beings are capable of that, and I don't see anything supernatural there. The fact that they believed in gods and stuff, I mean, as smart as they were then, they were still far less educated than we are now, and we believe in gods. Well, not like me specifically, but we as humanity, we believe in gods, and yeah, it just seems like what humans do.
I think that's a very narrow view to say that the people of antiquity were less educated.
Well, they were. They don't know as
I
much
think,
as us.
yeah, I think it's just, I think people in antiquity are just very superstitious people across the board.
I
Like,
mean,
just
every time
superstition.
we make a scientific discovery, we're not going to assume that they also knew it too. Like, we just now discovered it. Every time we make a new discovery that's stacking more knowledge on top of our collective knowledge that they certainly did not have access to.
Can you give an example of something like that?
Quantum field theory, I suppose. We didn't have this back in antiquity.
Why do you say that so confidently?
Because we didn't. Well, let me look up when it was
Because
posited.
can you show us the anthropology that refutes that claim?
Well, I'm not the one who made the claim.
Well, I'm still waiting for your evidence of God.
You said it doesn't exist. You're saying it does exist. Like, you're disagreeing with his conclusion.
No. I asked why do you feel that way so strongly?
Quantum
And then
field theory was first posited in the mid-1920s when physicists began trying to quantize the electromagnetic field. The earliest concrete formulation came in 1925 through 1926, when Werner Heisenberg, Max Born, and Pascal Jordan constructed a quantized field theory using harmonic oscillators and canonical quantization. I don't know what a lot of that
Okay.
means, but it comes from the early 1900s. So people in antiquity didn't have a concept of this.
Well, that's where I disagree.
Oh,
Because when you look
What
at
Evans?
yeah, we need some
well,
sources.
let me just go into the Brahmic and the Vedic texts, because they have one of the oldest languages and cultures of the world. And when you go into their stuff and you look at their temples, that's exactly what they're saying, is they were communing with whether you call them gods or archons or whatever, giving very advanced knowledge. Especially with things like harmonic oscillation. These are concepts that go back to Tesla, who was very fascinated in antiquity because that's
And
exactly what the
Yeah,
cultures were talking about.
flip to the section where the people of the ancient past were talking about quantum field theory, and I'll concede.
Well, that's the thing. It's always in characters, and it's always in the mythology, because that's exactly what was happening. Is they were talking about these very advanced topics, and putting them into a way where it would be into a story to be distributed amongst a very select few people who knew these things.
We're kind of all over the place. Can we refocus? Let's start from the beginning, because we've gone. I just noticed that we went down one trail, and I made a claim about we know more about them. We know more about things now than they did then. You asked for an example because you think that they knew everything that we know somehow, maybe even more. Every time we learn about something new, it's like, the ancient fuckers already knew that. I mean, ridiculous. So I said quantum field theory. You said, well, they already knew about that. I'm asking you to demonstrate that. And you're like, well, it's like they kind of sort of maybe had this thing that the gods allegedly were saying something to them in a poetic way from a story that I can pretend like it means they knew about quantum field theory, which obviously isn't true. But let's get to the evidence for God.
Okay. I think the last thing that I would lean towards is that we are utilizing things like math and science and logic and reason, which are all non-material phenomena.
Okay. So is it like if math and logic and reason exist, then God exists?
Well, I think that it points to a non-material aspect of our reality that is more cohesive than just bonds and chemicals and electrons and protons moving around. I think.
Well, so here's the way I see this, because this is kind of like this is almost like a transcendental kind of argument here.
Okay.
But like the way that I see it is these are languages that are descriptive of the universe and its phenomena. So math is just describing accurately, as accurately as we can create math to describe it.
Right.
The way that the universe works in a mathematical sense, and
Right.
we can discover this because the universe has patterns. Because if it was disorderly in a way that it did not have coherency, then it wouldn't be able to exist. Do you know
The
what I
math
mean?
wouldn't work.
Well, the math wouldn't ever come into existence because minds wouldn't come into existence because there would be no structure. You need structure for the universe to even really hold. So since there's
And
structure, we're able to make sense of it.
And isn't that fascinating? I think you just summed it all up right there, my
I think
friend.
that's what I would expect under a naturalistic universe.
I understand why you would say that, and it's because of everything you just said that I think it is natural. I don't think that God is separate from mathematics and nature and man and logic and reasoning.
I wish you would have told me that that God for you is just like you're using it as a misnomer to represent math and logical reasoning. Because I mean, I believe in math and logical reasoning.
No, I don't think it's a misnomer. I think all these things come from a creator, and that's why it
This is
makes
like
sense.
God of the gaps, though. This is
Well,
just all God of the gaps arguments.
Well, what you said was that you believe that God is the mathematical reasoning, but you're saying that it comes from a mathematical reasoning. I see a contradiction right
Yes,
there.
it's not a contradiction, because
Something
if
can't
I
come
say
from
something,
itself.
And
well,
then
isn't that
circular.
also fascinating? Then that makes then what is life then? If nothing can come from itself, what is evolution?
We come from like a B theory of time. Just like that's our view.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
A B theory of time. It's like it doesn't
I'm
matter.
not.
Like we
I'm not
don't
familiar with
we don't
that.
believe in like the when the Big Bang happened. We don't make the claim that that's the beginning of time itself.
Well, he's talking about. He was
Hmm.
asking about human evolution.
Like human evolution, but I mean, I feel like that's all tied into the like naturalistic.
But this gentleman just said that nothing can come from itself.
No, nothing with its own numerical identity can come from itself. Like obviously, life will give rise
Isn't that what
to.
we see in the universe?
No. No, absolutely not. We have like a human will give birth to another human, sure, but they don't have the same numerical identity. Like I'm not my mom, for instance. If I was my mom, that's what you're
Mm.
kind of talking about when you say that God is math, but math comes from God. Like, that
Yes.
doesn't make any sense. That's like if my mom gave birth to my mom. That's what you're saying. That's what doesn't make any sense.
Well, and I think that that's the I guess if there is some sort of fence that's in between us, I would be on my side of the fence
You would be
because
over there, yeah.
and I don't say that ashamedly or with any malice in my voice or heart. That is what we would call the leap of faith, where you guys see these conclusions or you see these evidences for a natural worldview, and you believe it is just part of the expansion or the reduction or the effect or whatever from something that we can't know. I have taken a leap of faith and say, man, these things are incredibly fascinating. And because I can kind of grasp some of it, it makes sense to me that uh, it has come from a place that also has intelligence and also has will and also has the characteristics of being an observer or a speaker or a creator.
Well, if I may, Urban Enoch, I think you've done yourself a monumental disservice by taking this leap of faith. I think that if you value truth, then
Okay.
faith will be the first thing that you remove from your methodology of coming to conclusions. But I've had you up here for a while now, man, and I think it's gone in kind
Yes,
of big
yes.
circles. Thanks for at least being cordial. This could have gone way worse, you know. But yeah, this was all right. You have a go, man.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely could have gone worse.
Mm.
Hey,
Hello.
Luna, you at least 18?
Yeah, 21.
All right. Do you believe in God?
I would say I'm kind of on the fence. So, like, maybe, like, agnostic theist would maybe be a good way to describe myself.
Like you think there's a God, like probably, but you're not exactly sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, by the way, I'm just noticing the colors in the background. Do you have certain pronouns I should be using?
They, them, if you could.
Okay, all right, I'll try to remember that.
I appreciate it.
I don't ask everybody that because I feel like sometimes people use it as like a disingenuous bit to like irritate people for no reason. But yeah, I do want to be respectful when I can.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, so what's the like biggest reason that you think we might have this God as our creator? Now, when you say God, what I'm talking about is like a creator of the universe that like has a
Yeah.
mind. That's kind of
Yeah,
the
I would
general
agree.
idea. Okay, so why do you
Yeah,
think
like
that
a prime
this might
mover,
be the case?
as it were.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say that the best argument, at least that I've heard, is going to be the cosmological argument. If you're familiar.
The Quam?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
basically.
familiar with it.
I have a
Yeah, basically the
video
idea that
pinned-
everything caused must have a cause. The universe was like started, so therefore it must have a cause. Therefore, some sort of creator.
But that's where we, like going back to what I said earlier. It's we hold a B theory of time. There's no like necessarily like beginning in our
Yeah,
metric.
this is to be honest with you. This is why I say I'm kind of on the fence because my hold up here is the if the universe started or not. This is why, like I say, I'm kind of on the fence with it. So I've heard arguments for both sides that the universe is eternal in a sense, or that the universe is not, and that the Big Bang was like the start of the universe, which is why I kind of hold that the argument kind of holds water, if that makes sense.
So okay, yeah. So this is like William Lane Craig kind of territory. I did a video on it about a year ago, and it's actually pinned. I don't believe everything that I said in that anymore. Some like slight differences, but like you could watch that after this conversation if you feel so inclined. But anyway, so like with the Kalam, it's talking about everything that has a beginning has a cause. Then it says the universe has a beginning. so therefore the universe has a cause. This doesn't necessarily mean God, and we also don't know that it has a beginning. In fact, I'd go as far to say that any beginning that we posit of the universe would inherently be illogical, because if I have a causal chain, and every effect is caused by its cause, right? It's caused by a cause. If there is a first moment, then this is something coming from nothing. It's an effect without a cause, an effect happening for no reason. You know what I mean? Because you can't have a cause that like precedes time. That doesn't make any logical sense. But before time, you wouldn't have language like before. If you use the word before, that places it in time, and whatever's before that t0 is actually t-1 would just be real, and it would be the actual true first moment. But then that one would just exist for no reason, like literally no reason. So you could have an infinite causal chain. But one thing that I usually say to people who think that there's a personal mind that created the universe is that he would have had to create like the t-axis itself, time, where events occur. And if he's outside of time, he cannot change. He can't actually change from going from thinking about creating to creating, or not wanting to create to wanting to create, because that would be a change in his mental states. And if there's a change, there's a before and an after. If there's a before and after, he's in time. You know, so it's just not, it doesn't seem like it's logically possible.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, fair enough. I kind of, like I said, I'm kind of maybe not arguing with myself, but trying to weigh both sides of the argument, if that makes sense, to see what I hold to be more to make more sense. And I've looked into Big Bang Theory, and I think it's a little more out of my wheelhouse, if that makes sense. Like, I'm trying to learn, but it's complicated. And then like I look at like Christian theology, and I also think it's pretty illogical and also doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm kind of, like I said, I'm just like weighing my options, seeing the arguments, talking to both sides. You know what I mean?
Right. What you'll find out is that the people who are coming from the religious side are going to be the most confident people, and none of them agree with each other, and they don't have a methodology to really test what they're claiming to be true. They just have a dogma that fills in gaps of their understanding and makes them feel good. So they need to like convince themselves, so they speak confidently to like not convince you, the interlocutor, but themselves. They need to like reassure themselves that this is true because they're afraid to die or something, right? But when you have people who are actually scientifically inquisitive and care about the truth, they're not going to be the person who's the most confident in the room. They're going to be the one who's going to be accepting ideas and really thinking hard before they open their mouth. So these are going to be the people that are going to have the most, I guess, thoughtful things to say when they finally do say something. If they're speaking in confidence and they're not religious, if they're speaking in science, they had better be a scientist, right? Or at least somebody who's very scientifically educated. That's when you know you can put more stock in what they're saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess the Kalam is kind of the best argument I've heard on the theist side, but I guess the argument that you made about like something not being able to be logically outside of time if change exists also makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I have to, think on it and, just stew in it a little bit. But I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Luna. I really appreciate you. That video I told you about is my third pinned video. If you wanted to look at that, again, like some of the things that I said, I don't exactly agree with anymore. But I think it's a pretty fair rebuttal still. Oh, whoops! I think I clicked off something here. Let's bring this. Yeah, I like my chat disappeared.
Are you on TikTok Studio right now?
Yep. Yeah, I brought it back though.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Orderly Earth Beyond Organic. Are you at least 18? You're clearly at least 18. What God do you believe in?
I'm a Hebrew Israelite, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, what's your best evidence for God?
Well, creation is what Romans gives us as the point of reference.
Okay. So why should I think that our environment is created?
Because you're not an idiot?
It's true. I don't consider myself to be one, but like, why would I think that the environment is created?
Okay. Well, if you allow me, I'll tell you. If I took a handful of pebbles, right, and I just tossed them on the sidewalk and they just flung wherever they wanted to, right? Maybe they were put there, maybe they were kicked there, don't know. Maybe they just kind of blew there. But if I took the same pebbles and I lined them up in an L shape, so a right angle, and we walked up, and you and somebody else walked upon, I'd be like, hey, somebody put those pebbles in a right angle or an L shape. We can recognize design because we're not idiots. Okay? If something has a design, we know instinctively that it has a designer.
Right. Okay. So if you saw like the rocks in an L shape, that would be like indicative of design. You would say like that's clearly design. But like when I look at rocks and they're flung all over the place, I'm like, well, this clearly was not designed. Like a beach, for instance, a beach looks like it was just naturally formed. But it seems like you would look at the beach and be like, I'm not an idiot. This is clearly designed. I mean, but like I mean, it seems like you would say that everything is designed. Like you would look at the meticulously organized rocks and like the debris after an explosion, be like, they look equally designed. And I'm like, well, the environment that we find ourselves in does not look designed to me. Yeah, I think that if somebody was like spelling out letters with rocks, yeah, for sure, but not just nature in general.
Okay, because that's not what I said. No, I said there's stuff that looks random and kind of like blown around. You want to talk about sand on the beach? Let's say random, right? But there's definitely let's point out here. Would you agree if you came up on a sidewalk and you saw someone do an L shape with a bunch of pebbles, that you would recognize that somebody had been there and did that? That it didn't happen by natural occurrences, wind and rain and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely assume that somebody was like drawing L's.
Sure. Okay. So when we see things like the simple human cell that took scientists 30 years to map out, would you say that's complex or more complex than an L?
Absolutely, yeah, it's more complex. I just don't think that complexity is the hallmark of design. But maybe that's not where you're going.
Do you think that accident type of stuff is the hallmark of design?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't consider. I wouldn't consider that like a cell's complexity is an accident, because I think that's like implying an agent doing something by mistake or unintended. I just don't think there's an agent involved, because I don't have a reason to assume that. Right? This is like a product of nature.
Do you believe that the human cell, by looking at something that is complex, it works together, is something that is a design?
No, absolutely not. Well, if I saw something that was like not biological, it would raise the likelihood that its complexity would be designed.
So if you saw a plane, you would not consider that there was a designer for it.
Well, I already have background information about planes. I know that we invented planes as humanity, and we uphold the maintenance on them. We constructed them.
Let's say it's the first time you ever heard or saw about a plane. Would you think that came about through chance or through design?
Well, it wouldn't be a biological thing, so I would probably think that it was designed. Especially when you look inside the plane, it's like more well designed than even like the human body. It's like everything is there for a reason.
That's not what the scientists are saying. They're saying that a simple human cell is more complex than a Boeing 747.
Do you think that if something is at least as complex as something like a human, then it must be designed? Is that kind of where you're coming from?
I'm just saying even just a simple human cell is more complex than a Boeing 747.
Sure. So do you think that, Ralph, I'll rephrase it. Do you think that if something is at least as complex as a cell, then it must have an intelligent creator?
I think that there are things that are less complex than a human cell that have creators.
But do you think that that's what tells you it was created? Like that's the reason?
Yeah, so the creation screams a creator or a designer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like for example,
I just want to make it clear, like that's the kind of like that's the line of thinking, right? You see something that's complex, and that's indicative of
You
design, right?
Actually, it doesn't even have to be complex. It can just be designed.
So then complexity doesn't matter. Like you're not. 'Cause otherwise, I'm wondering why you brought up complexity if you weren't trying
So
to get.
right. So
If you weren't gonna get
complexity
point of
adds.
created.
If you want to talk about what complexity is, it's a multiplier to design. So, for example, if I took a wood and I carved it into a shape and it looked like a swan, right? Because I used to do ice carvings, by the way, believe it or not. This is 30 years ago. And keep in mind, I always wanted to say that I have the 3 rules of TikTok. I'm the smartest, best looking, and the most humble. So remember that, okay? But that's my joke for the day. And you didn't laugh. But thank you very much. So we take a wood carving and you take an IBM computer, right? Do they still make IBMs?
They do cloud storage now, I think.
Okay. So you take a computer and my carving. Both of them, one's more complex than a carving, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And both of them were designed, correct?
Yes.
And we don't think that either one of those just came by chance, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, then creation or design screams a creator or a designer.
So this didn't answer my question. I was asking you if complexity is the hallmark of like design. Are you saying that like if you see something
I said it's
that
a
is
multiplier.
complex- Okay. So but if I
So-
see something that's complex, does that mean that from that I can infer it was designed?
I think design, or if you want to call it, like we can recognize design, like an L shape is not very complex, but you can recognize it was designed. An IBM computer is more complex than an L, but you recognize that's so. The more complex it is, the more it should be screaming
So
to
something
you.
maybe not complex then, something that has order, something that has structure. That would be indicative of design.
Yeah, it seems to be so.
Do you think that God has order and structure?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, then that would be indicative that God must have an intelligent creator. But if that's the case, then we would either be special pleading for God to like say that it's not, or we could say that there's like an infinite regress of gods.
So you're talking about the argument of the uncaused first cause.
No, I'm using the rule that you were using to infer how something is created or whether or not something is created. If something has structure and order, it must have been created. You said that God has structure and order, so therefore it follows the conclusion is God must have been created.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, okay? Because I want to kind of see where you're at as far as the answer to this. I'm not trying to trap you, I just want to see where your thoughts are on this. Do you believe in evolution, yes or no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you subscribe to the nothing blew up, became everything, and here we are? Or do you believe that the entirety of the universe existed forever?
I don't know who believes in the former.
I don't know what you believe. I don't care who it is. They can all believe different things. I'm trying to find out what you believe as far as, do you believe that it always existed? Or do you believe that it
I
came
think that
into
it's
being?
most parsimonious to think that something has always existed. I don't know who believes in the first thing that you said. It sounds kind of ridiculous. I've never heard anybody say they believe in
Oh,
something
no,
like
that's
that. Nothing blew
in
up
text.
and became everything.
Believe it or not, it's in textbooks. So
I would highly doubt that. It sounds like it would be like a straw man in some Christian textbooks about the
No.
Big Bang. That's what it sounds like it would be in. But I can't
Yeah,
imagine that
I
if
understand.
you're referring to the Big Bang that it would phrase it that way.
Right. I'm saying that they taught those things. And one of the other things that they taught too back years ago was that the entirety of all the atoms in the universe were compressed to the size of a dot on a period of a page, spun super and blew up and became everything, right? That was another theory that was that they put forth years and years ago. So I'm getting older as I'm showing my age here. But so my question to you is what is the mechanism by which we as human beings and this planet and this universe exist? What is the mechanism that you believe actually produced all this?
The mechanism, I don't think I'm clear on the question. Like humans specifically?
We're here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like, I'm trying to get clear on the question. Are you asking like how humans got here, or are you talking about the universe, or what?
It can be either one.
Well,
So,
what are you actually asking me?
where's the starting point?
I don't believe that there is a starting point to existence. But if you're talking about the starting point for humanity, it would be like a vague generalized starting point, because evolution is more of like a fade than actual steps that are quantified clearly.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, is that you believe that matter eternally existed?
Not necessarily. I think energy eternally exists, and matter is one form of energy.
Sure, and I have no problem with that. You want to call it energy, you want to call it matter, but it existed eternally then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
No.
the Big Bang is that it came from a hot, dense state. Like that's all the Big Bang is.
So you believed unintelligent energy existed, and by random chance and whatever, we became the human beings that we are billions or trillions of years later, correct?
I wouldn't say it's random chance per se. I would say that the laws of nature necessitated that this would be the natural result of that. But I would say it's unguided but not random.
It's unguided. Well, for there to be laws, then it's guided.
No, it's not.
Okay, laws denote a lawgiver.
Prescriptive laws denote a lawgiver, but descriptive laws don't. Do you know the difference?
Please explain.
So a descriptive law is where we observe something and realize that it's consistent, so we just call that a law. A prescriptive law
law
is
of
where
gravity.
where we decide, hey, nobody's gonna do this, and that's a prescriptive law. So
Right, I understand prescriptive or descriptive. I'm just trying to get your take on it, just in case.
So prescriptive laws denote a lawgiver. Descriptive laws don't. They don't. Like gravity, the laws of nature.
Yeah. Observation versus command.
I guess you could put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So if
all these are just God of the gaps arguments that you're throwing at us. Like everything is just God of the gaps.
Okay, what is God of the gaps to you?
God of the gaps is you can use any type of apologetic, whether it's metaphysics or anything like that, and construct an argument around that evidence, and then you say that points to a creator. That's God of the gaps, because you're using because it's evidence in your eyes for a creator. You're using that as pointing to God.
Well, and I understand what you're trying to say, but you believe in something that's eternal, and so do I. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, we both do.
I think an infinite universe is more plausible.
Okay. So you believe in the beginning rocks, and I believe in the beginning God.
I mean, I believe in the beginning of these rocks on this planet.
It's like a straw man of the position. Like I wouldn't say that in the beginning it was rocks.
I
wouldn't sit here and call your God Sky Daddy.
No.
To you.
No, I'm just saying
He's Sky Daddy.
So you believe in you can call him Sky Daddy. That's all. It's up to you. But you believe in the beginning energy, right? Would that be less offensive?
I think that energy is it cannot be created or destroyed, and with quantum field theory, it tells us that energy permeates the universe ubiquitously. There is not a single location in the universe where there is not at least some kind of background hum of energy, and this is why particles are able to come into existence upon the excitation of those fields. So yeah, according to quantum field theory and thermodynamics, energy is like something that can't be created.
Okay. So if it can't be created, but it's here and it's been eternal, then how did it get here?
Well, it's eternal, so it can't have just gotten here, right?
Okay. But so energy is eternal?
Yeah. So since you understand that that's like where I'm coming from, then to ask where it came from, it feels like you didn't actually understand that I was saying it was eternal.
No, and I just don't see energy being a creative, intelligent force.
Not with intention, no.
Okay. Well, and here again, I believe that God is the uncaused first cause, and you believe that energy is the uncaused first cause.
I wouldn't say that there's a first cause. I think there's like infinite causes, because to posit an effect with no cause seems like ridiculous, because I'm thinking about how you've got the causal chain. Hey, I want to just acknowledge Mom's Red Kitchen for defeating the gift goal here.
All the snail.
Thank you for that. Make sure you don't fill up the meter, or I'm going to sing to you. So you've been warned, okay? Now, what was I saying?
It's just like at Cold Stone.
What was I saying? Yeah, if you have a causal chain where every effect requires a cause, right? Every effect needs a cause. If you posit a first cause, then this cause would not be the effect of any cause. It would just have happened for no reason. It would be something coming from nothing. That doesn't make any sense to me. I can't imagine something coming from nothing like that. So I think that the causal chain would necessarily have to be infinite.
If energy, as you prescribed, always existed, then it was uncaused.
Correct. Yeah, energy's existence would be uncaused.
Right, and if energy then moves us towards where we're at now, matter, living beings, and all that kind of stuff, would you agree?
Yeah, energy makes up it makes up all of the particles and all of the potential that what we would consider to be potential in the universe.
Okay, so you agree that the uncaused caused something, correct?
Sort of. I mean, like, not exactly in the way that you might be thinking. I don't think that there was like a time where it began. Like, I think that this is just something that's always
right.
been.
So the energy was uncaused, but us, because of energy being uncaused, and through natural paths that you would call the laws, created us 1 billion, 2 billion, trillion, whatever time, right? So it caused us into being. The energy and the laws caused us to be.
The laws of nature necessitated our existence, in my view.
The law of nature. That's fine. So there was an uncaused, which is energy, which caused us because of the laws that it followed. Correct?
I guess you could put it that way.
I'm asking if that is an accurate portrayal of your position.
Yeah, you could put it that way. I just I'm weary of maybe a gotcha coming or something, because it sounds like you're trying to map it to be identical to God.
No,
with the language.
I'm just and I'm not trying to get you a gotcha moment. I'm just clarifying what you believe. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I believe in the beginning God, and you believe in the beginning energy, but both of us have a perspective of always existing.
Yeah, let's explore your perspective really quick.
Neither of us really have a concept of a beginning, then, do we?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is that we were born in time. So for us just to understand eternity, it's a hard concept for us. Okay, we don't think in that; we think in time. So, but based on our theology, your theology and my theology, we believe that something existed for eternity without time and caused us to come into being.
We're atheists, though. We don't have theology.
You have a.
It's just a theological our theological statement ends with, we don't believe in that there's a God.
Correct. So it's still theology.
But that's where our theology ends. Like, there's nothing beyond that.
Yeah. Nothing that I've said has anything to do with theology.
I'm curious. Can
go
I ask
ahead.
a question? What is your cosmology like as far as like what you believe?
I believe
Like,
that
I mean, do
God.
you believe in like the
Yeah.
biblical like
He's a
three-storied
Hebrew
universe?
Israelite.
Yeah, I'm a Hebrew
Right.
Israelite.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay, you mentioned that in the front. So I'm like, I'm just to clarify, like, do you believe in the like three-storied universe?
Three-storied universe. I'm not sure what you mean by that, so I might clarify.
I mean, it's just like a biblical term.
Okay. Well, I have never
Do you have
heard
like
of
the
that.
heavens above, the flat earth below, and then
Okay.
hell,
Okay.
Hades below that? And
Okay.
that's called the
So
three-storied universe that the Israelites certainly believe in,
yeah.
and most of the ancient, goes all the
Well,
way back to like first century Judaism.
by the way, this is one of the reasons. Who is this here? Is PEWP? This is one of the reasons that atheists believe the way they do is because the Bible does talk
Respectfully,
about showing.
orderly, if you want to speak to the comments, I'd prefer that you do it from the comment section.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yep.
So, go ahead. So
Yeah.
yes.
So we just want to know your like view.
Biblical, yes. The biblical cosmology is a dome, heavens, dome,
The firmament. Okay. Yeah.
firmament. Yeah.
Do you believe in a flat earth then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Spent 2 years
I've
studying
actually got a
that.
question because I wasn't anticipating for you to be a flurf, but I've been wanting to ask a flurf this because you probably have an answer, but I'm just curious as to what the dogma is on
Is
this.
that a
So I think it
is
it
that a
might be.
derogatory term?
It might be. I don't know.
A flurf?
It's just like
Yeah.
the language I've heard used.
Okay.
I mean, it's a nickname like anything else.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
so what is like?
is it okay if I call you a globetard?
Well, I
globe
wouldn't use the
card?
second. I wouldn't use the second part.
Yeah,
of
the
that.
other one's ableist. We're not using ableist language in our
So
flurfer.
how about we just keep it respectful and I'm good with that.
Sure. So I've just had this question. I don't know if there's like a dogma on this in flat earther ism, but how do you think GPS works?
So and again, I'm not all knowing. It's just I'm looking at various pieces of information and coming to a conclusion. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. Okay. So as far as GPS is concerned, I believe in satellites. I believe in the different cabling systems that we have. In fact, a lot of the GPS they use, there's underwater cables that they've laid out, and they utilize those cable. And even the military said, yes, we utilize those cables for GPS. They're one of the different ways. One of the many ways we utilize GPS. So I think there's a myriad of different ways GPS is constructed.
So you believe that there are satellites, but they're within the firmament?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think is beyond the firmament?
So, and again, because I've never been there, I don't know.
Well, what do you like? How do you think the satellites are staying up there?
So there are so the vast majority of satellites, and even NASA agrees with this. The vast majority of satellites that they have are hooked to weather balloons, and they are guided. In fact, I was actually watching a company who said we've gotten so good at our weather balloons that we can actually guide them based on the wind currents and other adjustments that they can make and keep it up there for about 365 days. So,
well, the way that they stay in the air, or not the air exactly, but the way that they stay in orbit is because they have a forward momentum, the velocity that counteracts the force of gravity below. So they're like constantly falling, but they're falling into the curvature of the Earth, and that's how they're able to stay up.
I'm just saying that the company in Texas, which is the main company that puts them up with weather balloons all the time, satellites.
But I mean, how they stay up there. I don't mean how they get up there.
Yeah. So again, this is their words, not mine. Okay, I don't work for the company. I just listen to what they said. They said when they first started doing them, they could only keep them up there for so long, but they said their technology and their abilities have increased so much that they can keep most of them up there for about 365 days or more.
So what do you think happens when somebody like hits the firmament with a rocket or something?
So again, haven't been there, didn't see it, and just some of the different videos that I've seen, but they're inconclusive. Okay, I don't know if it hit the firmament, if it didn't hit the firmament. So it's me talking out my butt at that point.
Because I'd be inclined to think that you don't believe in the moon landing, right? Like that's for sure, since you
That's
believe in the
correct.
firmament. But there were definitely people who like attempted the moon landing, in your view.
I don't know. Again, I was not there. I can speculate all day long,
Whoa.
but to say for absolute sure,
Like we've sent
I'm just
a lot
talking
of,
out my butt.
We've sent a lot of stuff to the moon, and like we've crashed a lot of things onto the moon. We've landed a few things on the moon safely. At least that's what is like what you might call propaganda. But
I
that's
mean,
like
and
so-
Mars.
and
Yeah,
Mars, right?
and
We've got
the
pictures
rovers there.
from Mars. But like, so this would be at least one of these things has had to have smacked into the firmament and like broken to pieces.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why
so-
God's not here anymore. Maybe like when we accidentally killed God when we sent a rocket through the
Could have
firmament.
been. Could have
Is
been.
that the case? And he's just like, we just
Probably
offed
not.
him. We just offed him accidentally.
Because
Probably
every
not.
single one of these would have to be a lie that's constructed by like a network of like it would be a grand scientific conspiracy, and I'm just wondering
Yeah,
like,
I'm
how they could keep something like that under wraps and what the motivation would even be.
Yeah, and
I would
can't
certainly
speak to-
explain divine hiddenness. Like if we like offed God like with a rocket, like I feel like that explains. It's a great apologetic.
Right.
For
So
divine
here's the thing.
hiddenness. And why
Yeah,
Jesus
so-
hasn't come back too, because
Could be.
we
Could be.
accidentally took them out with our rockets, and now we're just here by ourselves.
Yep. Could be.
That explains
Yeah.
a lot of eschatology. All of a sudden, like we got ahead of it.
Oh, yep. So here's the interesting thing. So from a biblical cosmology, the sun and the moon are within the dome in the firmament. Remember, the firmament is where the birds fly. Okay. So within that arena, that we call air or whatever. No, well, you can read Genesis and
It's
so
the
we
waters
talk-
above. They believe that the waters there's water up there. So like
Yeah.
in your cosmology, the satellites are floating around in the water, correct?
No.
Because that's the highest point of the
He
firmament.
says
Yeah.
that the satellites are in the firmament. I think that is the water's on the other side of the firmament, and like the firmament is
Yeah.
preventing the water.
Again,
That must be where the satellites are. Like I think
Yeah,
we're
no.
like the satellites must be submarines.
They're like under.
Globes.
No.
They're like under the dome. Like I guess like if you were like in
Right.
one of them, you could like reach out and like scratch
Right.
the firmament.
I guess they're called above marines because they're not submarines, they're above marines.
Bud Marine, Jess.
Yeah.
Like
here's
they're
the-
Dom Marines is what they are.
Dom marines. That's perfect. That's
There
what
you go.
satellites should be called. We've been calling satellites the wrong thing all this time, Lopes.
You bet. So the biblical cosmology, the way it sits in Genesis, by the way. You okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm wearing you out, I don't, I hope I've been respectful to you at least.
You've been fine.
Okay. So from a biblical cosmology, there is the dome. Now, so keep in mind, it says that the firmament, the sky, where the birds fly through and the sun and the moon are, it separated the waters that were above from the waters below. Now, could those waters be the ice dome? Or could the water be above the ice dome? Don't know. I haven't been up there. All right. But I'm just saying, from a biblical cosmology, that's the idea: is that there's a dome, there's the air, okay, where birds fly, and the sun and the moon are, and then there's the earth, which is flat with upturned edges, and then below is hell. Yes.
I have a
That's
question for you.
biblical-
Like, what if, let's just say, like, hypothetically, like Jeff Bezos was like watching our live right now, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna send this guy up in one of my rocket ships, and he sends you up there, and then you see that everything you're describing is just bullshit. Like, what would that do to your like worldview?
Yeah, so that would make my worldview wrong. And then I would have to literally step back and go, I was wrong. Maybe this whole Bible thing isn't true.
Right. So I mean, maybe that there is evidence in that regard, and maybe you should do some more digging. And
I did for 2 years, by the way.
2 years. What were your sources? Like, where are you digging at? I'd love to know like where you were digging all this wonderful information.
Sure. So there is an app out there. So keep in mind, when I started digging, this was probably 10 years, 11 years ago, right?
You turned to an app.
Be patient.
So, wait, so it's 10 years ago. You researched for 2 years and you haven't like looked into it since.
Yeah, because it's really at some point it just becomes redundant.
You just everything. You're done.
It's not that you know everything. It's just it's as far as my day-to-day living, it doesn't affect me one way or the other, right?
Right, because you just swallowed that information, and it's just you've just accepted it, and that's like the world that you are perceiving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a flat Earth, like for example, Dave, what the hell is his name? Dave, I think he's Dave Weiss. That's his shtick. He's a flat Earth guy, right?
Okay,
and
yeah. So you got your information from him?
Yeah.
Okay. You had like a flat earther influencer influence you. Does
Absolutely.
that track?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've had you up for a while, Orderly. I think that we haven't really made a lot of traction. We've sort of just like been amazed at some of the stuff, but come back another time. We'll continue. All right. Have a good one.
Yeah, don't stop digging. Don't stop digging. Like, you should definitely look into this matter.
I don't know what to do with flat earthers.
I wanted to cut to the chase.
You said that, and I was like, we're off the God topic at this point, but I really was curious about how flat earthers view GPS. Oh, see that you're.
Well, I mean, we were going around and around with a lot of, apologetics in terms of just origins of, our reality. And I just kind of wanted to get to the bottom of his cosmology, because that, will tell me a lot, just asking those questions, like, what's your cosmology? Like, what do you believe? And then,
yeah.
I mean, at least he's sticking true to the text, because that is exactly what the Bible teaches.
Right.
I mean, it does teach a flat Earth.
It does, and I was sort of, I wanted to stop this at the beginning, but I was just answering his questions. I'm supposed to ask them what their evidence is. That's the prompt. But a lot of times when somebody starts asking me questions, it becomes like a long interview process, and I'm like, this has got to be boring for people watching,
I thought I could get to the heart of it by asking that question, and it seems like you did, because that's, we got to the heart of the matter in that regard.
Who is Progress? You're not connecting. I'm gonna drop you. If you're still there, then request back up and we'll try again, okay? And Slice is requesting. Let Slice come up for a second. Hey, Slice,
Yo,
what's up?
Slice.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello again.
Hello again.
Sorry, no, I wanted to be actually. I wanted to talk to the last guest, so I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to request up.
It's all good, Slice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll put you back down there.
We love you.
Yeah, Slice is the GOAT. Slice is one of the best supporters on this app.
And he does. He
He's a constant
loves
presence.
Yes, he's a total like cheerleader in the deconstruction community. I see him all over the place.
Yeah. Well, so the guest box is open if anybody wants to request up and give me their best evidence for God. Who is Progress is requesting back up? Let's see if it connects this time. Hey, who is Progress? You at least 18?
Hey, how's it going on?
Oh, I'm good. I hope you are. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 32.
What God do you believe in?
Just an ultimate being, not like any religious one.
Okay, is it a mind that created the universe, or is it at least an ultimate personal foundation?
Yeah, more like a grounding or a foundation.
All right. So, what is your best evidence for God?
So I'm gonna just make a point. Nothing has ever come from nothing. So like we can't say that anything has ever derived from any like
We
without
would agree.
Yeah,
a
we
We
all
don't.
agree
We
with
don't
that.
posit that.
Yeah,
We don't
we all
posit
agree.
that.
We all agree with that. Yep.
right. So then that like also applies to motion. Nothing has ever been put in motion without an initial force.
Yeah, like everything that's in motion is brought into motion by something else. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, great. So we can see that there's a motion of time, space, matter, and we have to understand that there's an initial force to have started that.
Well, I don't know if
Are
there's
you
something that.
suggesting that this force is outside of time, space, and matter?
Yes.
So,
But
but
there's
like,
no proof of that though. Like there's no way to prove anything outside of time, space, and matter because anything out of time, space, and matter doesn't exist.
I see what you're saying, but it's not constrained by time, space, and matter. So in order for time, space, and matter to exist, it has to have a starting point. So
I think that
the
if
foundation
time,
is
like if
go ahead.
time has a starting point though, then that would everything that like has change exists within time. Like because when you have change, you have before and after, right? Each moment. Now, if time doesn't exist, then you have this changeless state of affairs where like change isn't possible. It's not changing because there's no time. So then, in order for time to start, the thing that is incapable of change would have to change into a changing state where time starts to exist. And I think that's just a logical contradiction.
No, I think it's more just explained of a state of potentiality and then a state of actuality. We live in a state of actuality, but the potential state is what is defined as God. The
So
potential state
God is
before
usually
actualization.
I hear that reverse where God is the all actual and like not potential, but you said you don't hold to a specific God. So
Yeah.
yeah, this would be like the inverse of the Catholic view, I guess. So you think that God has potential? Do you think God is
No,
actual?
God is all potential.
God is all potential.
Hmm.
Do you think that he's actual at all?
No, I think the actualization is our existence, which is just like the representation of a moment of infinite potentiality.
Infinite potentiality. Okay. Well, all right. So can you explain to me the can you like address the thing that I said earlier about time coming into existence?
What do you mean time coming into existence?
You were
What
saying
about
that
it?
the time, space, and matter would have to have a starting point, and
Yeah.
I voiced a contention that I have with that I don't think that it's logical to say that there could be a state of affairs without time, then time comes into existence because all change exists within time.
I agree. That's why everything comes into play at the same time. Time, space, and matter.
Right. Then there would never be a time without time.
But there is. So it's like,
Can you explain that?
so what I'm saying is there's a potential for time to exist, which is just the changing. Time is all, as we explain it, is just the changing of the state of matter, whether it's directionally, whether it's like chemically.
It's not just
So
matter.
all
If there's no matter, then we would still have time.
it wouldn't be observable.
Well, it wouldn't make a difference.
So we wouldn't be. It wouldn't exist.
Well, yeah, the matter wouldn't exist, but the time would still exist.
The time can't exist without the matter
What's the argument for that?
because time is matter and time are directly correlated. Like
How?
the way we define time is by the changing of matter.
That's how we like can tell when it's going by. But like time doesn't care what we see or what we think. Like before the earth was formed, there was still a passage of time.
But
So
if
like
nothing is changing, how
before
can you say time is happening?
yeah, like that's how change is how we identify time. But time would still march on regardless of whether or not we were aware of it.
But how can we like time is just a definition of the change. So if
Time
there's no
is the
change, there's
axis
no
upon
time.
which change is possible. Like
Exactly.
time is an actual phenomenon in the fabric of our universe. Like are you familiar with like time dilation?
Hmm.
Yeah, like this is a thing that is not something that we invented. This is an actual phenomenon that occurs in the universe where time will actually literally pass different for one object or person than it will for another one relative to them, depending on their speed and mass.
Yeah, but that's relativity. You
Yeah,
can explain
exactly.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So time is something that is actually intertwined into the fabric of our universe. It's not something
It's
that we made
intertwined
up.
into the changing, how quickly the changing of matter in space is happening. So like the quicker you move the matter, the quicker you change, right? Your state of being, the less you perceive time. So they're intertwined.
So can you imagine, like, just for instance, a state of pure energy that is moving like an energy wave that is progressing through space?
That's
Do you
still a
think that
form of matter.
it's still no, it's a form of energy. Matter is a form of
Okay.
energy.
Okay, so great. We'll just make it energy. Not even matter anymore, just energy. The
Right.
changing of energy is time. So time and energy are intertwined. So if you're talking about a time that's like energy that's moving through space, then that's how we observe time. There's no
How we observe
time
time.
without that changing of energy.
Yeah, so there won't be any change if time does not exist.
Yeah.
Right. So
So,
if
but
there
what
is
I'm
a state
saying
of
is that
affairs, if there's a
if there's
state of
nothing to
affairs,
change, there's no time either.
exactly. Yeah, so if there's a state of affairs where there is no time, can you explain to me how that can change without the application of time?
Once you take the potentiality and actualize it, there's just two
Right.
different states of
So there would be, yeah,
existence.
that would be a progression of time though.
It would just
Yeah,
be. I
the
understand how it could be
potentiality
complicated, but
is
we're
this is
only
all
observing it
just
through this scope right now. So, like,
coping.
what we're seeing and how we're experiencing it isn't the only way that existence can be formulated or potentiality can be expressed.
No, we
So
just have
I don't.
to, I mean, we have to work with like what we've got. We can speculate, but speculation won't really get us very far.
Okay. Well, let's work with what we got then. Do you think anything has come from nothing?
No, we said that already at the beginning.
We've already
Okay.
established that.
Can matter be created or destroyed?
Yeah,
No.
matter can,
Oh,
not energy.
okay. Energy be created or destroyed. You're right. Can it?
It can't. It's
So
thermodynamics
how do we have it?
because it's eternal.
Isn't that the second law of thermodynamics?
Oh
Yeah,
no. So
or the
for
first or
it
the
to
second
have
one.
existed here, it had to have been brought like about. Because like you said, there's a point of time,
Why is
and
that?
then energy. Because you're saying time is infinite.
Uh-huh.
So I said all of them are starting at the same time. You're
Yeah,
saying
why do you think there's a start though?
because we can observe that things go in an order. So there's a progressive nature to life. Like nothing is randomized.
Right, so I mean, you could have a progression without a starting point.
But then then that would just like invalidate saying that things require force to start.
No,
I'm not
actually,
saying that.
it reinforces it actually, because if you were saying that like
So
there
then
was an
that
actual
thing that's
starting
in
point,
motion,
if there was an
that
actual
thing that's in
starting point,
motion.
then this is
Okay.
like, so let's say that there's nothing in motion, then nothing can set it into motion because you're trying to appeal to like a starting point where there's nothing in motion, and then nothing sets it in motion.
No, I'm
But I
saying
think
that there's God, right? I'm trying to explain it in a way like as the potentiality
mhm.
of becoming an actuality. So that's the start. That's the force that starts everything. That's what pushes everything into motion.
Okay, and
So then you
there's
start at 1 and then you get to 2, but you can't go from 1 to 2 without a force. And we agreed upon that earlier.
right, and this God would be a force that wouldn't have any causal power, because if you have a force that is non-temporal, I mean, causes are either before or simultaneous to their effects. And if God is transcendental to time, then he's not before or simultaneous to anything, so he can't possibly be the cause of anything that's in time.
I disagree.
So how
I
can
think it can be the
something
cause
that
of
is not
everything.
before or simultaneous to an effect be the cause of an effect?
Because the effect can't be contingent on itself. So,
Right.
like, we observe a contingent universe. So, a place where everything requires something else before it. And it would be, I think, just disingenuous to our intelligence to then assume the entire universe, the foundation that we base this knowledge and logic on, is non-conditional, because then that would mean or contingent, because that would mean all these contingencies are sustaining themselves.
So
And
what you're
that's
saying is like it's turtles all the way down is what I'm hearing.
it's turtles all the way down, but they're being held up, and we see
By
that they're
more
being held up.
turtles. They would just be being
But
like held.
so we know that anything that's being held up, they're not just randomly infinite turtles floating in space; they're being held up. So we know that requires a point of stability.
Right. Yeah, so the turtles would be supported by more turtle. Like the thing about like this is like the domino example. If you have an infinite set of dominoes that are falling, you could say like, well, how did it start? Well, that's like the wrong question to ask because it's an infinite set of dominoes. So there wouldn't really be a start. You could say, well, um, how do you account for each domino being pushed over by the previous one? Well, there's always, like in any given moment, there's a domino that is contingent on the previous domino to fall. And the thing about the infinite set of dominoes is we would have a problem if there was a first domino, because then you'd have to ask, what's causing this first domino? There's no domino before it, there's
Something
nothing else.
outside the set.
But if you have an infinite set of dominoes, you have infinite ammo, so to speak. So like, what started this domino to fall? Well, the one before it. And what started that domino? Well, the one before it. And there's always another domino, so you always have it grounded logically, where it actually works well. It's fine.
It
There's no
doesn't
logical contradiction.
because then that would mean that the fall is which is an applied force is the infinite grounding, and we know that's not true. We know that the dominoes are falling, so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, why are they falling? Like, we know dominoes just don't fall by themselves,
No, they
so
don't.
we
They're
have to
like
then
each
look
domino.
outside of the
Yeah,
dominoes.
each domino would be pushed by the one previous.
Yeah, so I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm saying that
I
in
feel like
order
we're
for there
getting
to
into
be
like
a
the
previous state, so in order for there to
Hilbert's
be a
Hotel
previous state,
paradox.
we have to
Yeah, it's kind
understand
of like that.
that there was a previous force as well. So, like, there was a point where all these dominoes were stacked up, right? And
No, there wouldn't be
and
because
your
it's infinitely
argument, so
falling.
your argument is that, and mathematically that doesn't make sense, because that's saying we can start at negative infinity and get to zero, which is now.
No, I
You
don't
can't.
hold to like a theory of time, right? So like
We've
physics
already
is
established
just
that.
yes. Well, I think we did with a previous guest, but like physics has heavily reinforced my belief that we have like an eternalism where all moments are actual, or the B theory of time. So we wouldn't
Well,
actually have to, like, if you wanted to start your book, for instance, at the first page, you don't have to, like, all the pages are actual. You can start at page 200 if you want to. Like, I started in 1995, for instance, but the universe has prior moments, if that makes sense.
I completely understand that, but even the B theory of time doesn't make sense because we understand what actual is, right? Actual is observable. Actual
No,
is measurable.
that's not
Right.
Actual
true.
is
We
explainable.
observed that the universe came from a hot, dense state. That's it. There's nothing that says that that was the beginning of time. Like most physicists will not say that that's like I want to say it's like upwards of like 68% or something like that.
It's 60.
A physicist. Yeah.
So then you would argue that there's a state of existence that, like, there's a possibility the universe could have existed a different way.
I don't know. I think
Okay.
that the
So
universe
then,
is
no matter what
is
state it was
necessarily
in, it
this
was still
way. I don't know
happening
about
this way,
red.
right? So no matter what state it was in, it was still happening this way. So
Yeah,
that
if all
hot,
moments
dense
are
state,
actual, that means like the past, present, and future are all equally existing. So the future would be set, and
that's not true though. So
each effect would be like, from our perspective, contingent to its prior cause. But if all moments are actual, then it necessarily is the case that the universe is the way that it is.
But if all moments were actual, then we can actually observe the future, and we can't. We can
No,
observe the
that's not what
past.
that means.
Yeah.
That's not at all what that means.
Well, what the reason I'm saying that is because right now there's a potentiality. My hand stays down or it goes up. Those two futures are completely possible. Those two futures in your view are actual, but only one of them will actually happen.
Let me give you an example that I like to use to kind of help illustrate this. So if you can imagine like a roll of film that has a movie on it, it has the frames of a movie. Like Toy Story 2 is the example I usually give. I actually recently watched it. There is a frame of that movie where Buzz is running down the air vent to get to like the elevator, and then there's another frame of that movie where Zurg emerges and they're like, it's Zurg, and Rex can't believe it because he's been like trying to practice the video game. He's got like the guide, and anyway, but both those frames exist equally. But if you were a character in that movie, you wouldn't experience all of the frames equally. You wouldn't know what is to come in the frames that are post the frame you're existing in. They don't know that Zurg's gonna come through that elevator shaft, but we can see all the frames at once if we want to. We can look at we spread the film out on the table and look at each of these frames, and you can see the image in there, and we can know. At the end, there's a frame that has this. At the beginning, there's a frame that has this. All of the moments within the confines of that movie are actual, and I think that time is the same way. I think that each slice of time is kind of like the frame of a movie where the film is all totally actual, but we as characters, so to speak, in this like movie, we don't have access to all the frames, only the ones that we exist in.
Okay. I'm gonna throw my contention, and then I'm also gonna throw like a reason behind it. But I disagree, mainly because that leads to the narrative of predestination, which I should honestly allow it, because that would only then strengthen my argument that there is a preordained force. Secondly, I argue, it's a fair point, but I argue that movie didn't exist until somebody made it. So regardless of how you want to view it, it's not possible until it's made, and that is in sequential order. Like somebody has to put the idea and then turn that into the concept and then make it a viewable experience.
The existence of the film is like, that's not really the point of the analogy. The analogy was to illustrate how I view time, right? Like, not the existence of it. I think that the existence of the film is different than the existence of time itself. I think time itself necessarily exists. I don't think that the film necessarily exists. It's just a useful tool to help illustrate how I view time.
I agree. I think time exists, but I don't think it exists as a fully actualized state at all times. I think there's the actualization that's happening right now. There's the things that already happened that are observable, that we know are true. That's the past. And then there's the potentiality that can happen, and that's the future.
Well,
and the future.
But you hold to relativity, right? Like you agree that this is a phenomenon that occurs?
Yeah, I think space, time, and matter all occur at the same time.
So, like, with relativity and time dilation being a thing where there is no universal now, how do you ground that with a theory? How do you account
What
for
do you
that?
mean that it's not that there's no universal now? It's just that the thing that is moving through the it's just that the thing that is moving through the now is moving faster than I am moving through the now. So it's not being affected by the now.
Yeah, so there's not a universal now that's shared by, because like if there were a universal now, then we could see like person A and person B could observe effect E at different locations, and one person could say that like E happened before F, and the other person could say that person B could say that E and F happened simultaneously, and they would like both be correct from their own perspective, and it's not because of like where they are, like their field of vision, but how time is actually passing for those individuals and for the effects, because it's relative.
But those effects, but they're explainable. They're conditional, based on gravity, based on momentum and speed.
Yeah.
These aren't things that just randomly happen. They come with a reason. So
Right, but this
so we
this is
can
like
we can we
this is
can
extremely
understand
strong
that.
evidence for B theory and not A theory. Under A theory, it
No,
would
because
be under A
because what's
theory, it
happening.
wouldn't make any like, it would just lead to contradictions where like
Well,
under A theory, if E and F happen at the same time for one person and E happen first for one person while F happen later, that would just be contradictory in reality. It's something that can't actually manifest under A
It's like
theory.
the scene in
No, that's not true,
Spaceballs.
because if we had, all right, so like what you're using is relativity, right? But let's say we had a universal frame of time, right? And we can start that moment at one, and we said that those exact things, wherever they were in this universe, happened exactly at one, universal time. That wouldn't be arguable. But what you're saying is because there is observable or like forcible phenomena that are happening. So like whether it's space time distance or light year distance or gravitational effects, that these people are experiencing time differently. So they might feel as though this happened first or that happened second.
Exactly. Yes.
But that's just
Exactly.
a feeling. That's just a point of subjectivity.
That's
Ultimately,
right
the
because
motion,
time
the
is
changing
relative.
of
It's their
energy is still
mode.
happening.
Like it's the mode in which they're passing through time, which implies and actually I think necessitates that time does not have a universal now, because one person can genuinely experience time one way while somebody else is genuinely experiencing time in a different way. Now for them is not now for the other person.
But now is now. Like now here and now billion light years away.
You should ask a
We might
physicist.
observe them differently, right? But those moments, once if we break it to a universal, like I said, a universal defining time, will happen at one. If that's what you're describing, then we can say they happen at the exact same time, but they were experienced differently.
What? No, I'm saying with B theory, it's not that everything happens at the same time. It's that all moments
No,
are
no,
actual.
no, you're talking about two moments where time is being experienced differently, happening at the same time.
Right.
So
We talked about time dilation earlier. Like
okay, but if
That's
so,
what that's
it
yeah.
doesn't matter if we break it down to the millisecond, to the fraction of a second, and we say that happened at that exact moment. Then there's no argument to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying that it didn't happen exactly. That's just a point of subjectivity. But if we objectively look at it, we can say that this happened first, this happened second.
But you can't look at it objectively because we all experience time differently. Because time is relative. Because
But what's
because
going
all
through
moments are
time
actual.
still is measurable.
Yes, it's measurable, right? But
Exactly.
not without fault. Like we have to use time dilation is like something that happens, I think, more frequently than a lot of people think about. Like we use time dilation to calculate the accuracy in our GPS systems. It's something that we take into account every second of every day. It's like that big of a force. So when we have massive objects like the sun, for instance, or things that are like 10 times bigger than the sun, or super dense things like black holes or photons that are zipping through the universe at light speed, like every time is going to be different for each of these things. So there
Okay,
is no universal now.
but there is. So you know quarks. You know what a quark is? Like the
A
smallest
quark.
form of matter, like a positive, negative quark, and we can observe them moving thousands of light years at the exact moment, even though they're far apart, because there is a universe now that we can comprehend.
No,
There's a
that's
change of
that's
matter that's
a
being happening.
misunderstanding of
It's
what's
just
happening.
how those that energy is interacting.
If we had somebody else on, let's say like Mars, for instance, that were looking at the same quarks, they would have a different conclusion as to when these quarks got to their locations than as an observer on Earth.
But that would be subjective. That moment that those quark changes happened at the same time.
But our time on Earth is different from someone's time on Mars.
But that's just subjective. That moment that those quarks change is the exact
relative.
time.
It's relative. We are actually experiencing
Relativity
time
is a
differently.
subjective experience.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
That's why it
quarks
explains like time
happening-
dilation. Like if
those
you're like
quarks
across the
changing are
universe,
objectively happening at the same time.
Oh my god.
Even if we have different ways of measuring that time or understanding that time. One to this one left is the exact moment.
you mentioned light years. You mentioned light years earlier. I feel like that's like a good example of exactly what we're trying to tell you.
Do you
That's
know
what I'm
who
trying to tell
Dr.
you,
Blitz
that light
is?
years are a subjective thing. What?
Do you know who Dr. Blitz is?
Mm-mm.
You should find
I was
him-
gonna say the same
You-
goddamn
yeah,
thing earlier.
You should find
Yes.
Dr. Blitz on TikTok. He is a physicist, and he could probably better explain this to you because I'm trying to explain it
Yes.
to you and I'm failing. I'm not getting the point across. I don't know how to better explain it, but he could put it in a way that you could understand. He does Ask a Physicist lives. He also does I'm an atheist, like prove me wrong or something. And he also
He
argues
does
against
Flat
flat
Earth
earthers.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he goes live very often. It's his main source of income, so he's doing it very frequently. And if you request up, there's a high likelihood that you'll be able to talk to him about this.
But even B theory, if I were to like accept that, wouldn't tell me that there's no God. It would just tell me that there are preordained happenings that all happened already.
All right. B theory on its face doesn't tell you there's no God. It just makes the contingency argument not really matter.
Okay, but it doesn't. Again, it only strengthens the argument that there's a preordained nature.
I wouldn't say preordained. There is just a nature that exists necessarily.
And that
Because we're here.
already existed.
Right, because we're here
So-
observing it. Like
And
we're
so
having this
what's
conversation.
gonna
It's just it
happen-
exists
what's gonna
because we know
happen-
it exists.
What's going to happen already happened, and I can't change it.
I'm a determinist. Like my view is consistent on this.
Can I change my future?
Your future's set, under my view.
Okay, so it's set. It's preordained,
Not preordained.
predestined.
No, not predestined. Naturally determined.
Naturally determined.
Yes.
Based off of what?
Based on the nature of time and the causal chain.
Like
And-
where you were born, who your parents are, where like all those things.
And these natures, you're saying, exist without cause, without
They
any.
necessarily exist.
Hmm?
They necessarily exist.
Yeah, I don't know if I could grant that.
Like even if there was like a let's say an A theory.
I believe that.
Let's say even if there was an A theory and there was like a necessary first cause. This necessary first cause wouldn't necessarily exist excuse me, because it'd be necessary. And if it's sufficient to bring about its effects, like the universe, this instantiation of the universe, that means that this instantiation of the universe simply follows from this necessary fact, whatever it is, whether it's God or something else. So if that's the case, then because this thing is necessary and it's sufficient to bring this about, that means that every moment that passes and every effect that is actualized is also by virtue of it being coming from something that's necessary is also necessary. Logically, this is like modal collapse.
Would you say that life is random then?
No,
Like,
it's actually
so
the exact
evolution, so-
opposite. Determinist
so life is
the
not random.
opposite. Right,
Okay,
it's the
so-
opposite of random. It's
So like
determined.
evolution, for example, right? It's a consistent. I call it a force, right? Just so people can understand what I'm grasping at. It's a consistent force applied on a cellular level without any conscious understanding, gearing towards efficient life.
So it doesn't gear towards anything. Evolution is something that has. So every time you have a organism give birth or reproduce in some kind of way, that generation is going to be
Stop real
slightly
quick.
different. It's going to have mutations, and it's not
But
going to be
the
exactly
process,
the same.
the process of reproduction, where does that start?
This is something that would have
so-
evolved.
Okay, so then again, what I'm saying is that evolution is just a way for life to continue growing. It's a way to sustain itself. It's a force of being applied not randomly, with a clear goal in mind. And
doesn't-
so reproduction is an
Evolution does
example
not
of
have
that.
any goals. This is just what evolution does naturally. Like, do you understand what
Right.
natural selection
So
is?
so I like that idea, but we can clearly see in the entire universe where there are still organisms and forms of cellular life that can
The
evolve.
entire universe? I gotta push back on that. What do you mean the
well,
entire
our
universe?
Our observable universe right now,
Okay.
where we can see like organisms and cellular life, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't have the conditions necessary for evolution. So
That's not
evolution
true.
is conditional. So then we don't see bioorganic matter growing on Pluto.
Well, I mean that's within our solar system, but I mean there is certainly like planets that they've seen that could be conducive for life?
Because life needs something to, like, exactly, because life needs conditions to exist.
Right.
Right, and those
It's,
are random.
it's not random. It's conditional
What's your argument for it not being random?
because it needs conditions: energy, water, and oxygen.
And how can those things not be random?
And it's not that they're not random; it's that life requires them. So life is
Right.
random.
Well, I mean, I'm not arguing that. I'm saying
That's
like,
all I'm saying.
I'm sort of
well,
wondering
I'm saying that those
what is
things
the
can
what is
come
the
together randomly, just like our planet.
what
Yeah,
is
but
Like
the
our
when
solar
things when
system is a
things
fluke.
require when things
what's the point
require
you're trying to
specific
make?
when things require specific conditions to exist, we can't attribute that to randomness.
I
There's
personally don't.
trillions, there's literally trillions of galaxies and shit out there in the universe. Like there's almost like infinite possibilities.
But what we see are predictable outcomes because it's not random.
We're just a part of that infinite possibility.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that the infinite possibility is God, and we are merely experiencing one fraction of
That's
that infinite
absurd though.
possibility. How is that more absurd than you're saying?
Because
Infinite
why
possibilities
would
just
God
exist,
need to go
but
through all the trouble of making trillions and trillions of galaxies and universes and all the things in our observable universe?
who says it's a need? What if our life is just a
So
result of God's
he just
existence?
felt like
What if God is like
just
a
jizzing
prism?
his that's like
I'm
the
just
rest
trying
of
to
the
explain it
universe
to
is
you.
just
I'm trying to
God's
explain it to you.
orgasm.
No, I think we're just a result of God's existence. It's like a prism existing, and we're just one shade of light that is being separated. Like it's just a result of the existing prism.
So what was the point you were trying to get to?
That nothing is random.
Yeah, I granted that. So I think that
Yeah.
redheaded trouble might not be a determinist like I am, but I don't believe in randomness. I think that there is perceived randomness from our perspective, and that's just because we don't know what all the factors are. But if we knew what all the factors were and the trajectory of everything and all the possible variables in a given like scenario, then we could accurately predict what was going to happen because of the nature of cause and effect. So I agree with you there. I don't think anything's random, but that doesn't mean I think that it's intentionally guided.
I don't have to say intentionally guided, but I can say
That's where I'm hung up. Like
I can
I
say
agree with you, Lobes, in that
I
sense.
can
Like
say that
when you're going through causality, sure. Like it's easy to like when you forensically dissect anything, you can trace its origins and why it got there.
but we could see intentionality in the process of evolution.
Do you okay, that was my question earlier. Do you understand what natural selection is?
I understand what natural selection is, but that is a result of an underlying
Well,
intentionality
can
to
you like
survive.
because like can you explain to me just so I know that you do understand it? What is natural selection?
So an organism has a chance of survival based on its environment, and it can change to survive better in that environment. And then, like, let's say you have a child, right? And you're in the water. You can't swim. You have a child that can swim. That child will survive, have more kids that can swim, and then we'll find more swimming species. So, like,
Right.
that's
So right.
how evolution.
So this is like this gives you no reason to like think that this would need to be set up in a particular way. This would be
Oh
something
yeah,
that
because
like naturally makes life get to be able to adapt. And it's not perfect either. Like
I think it's only
we're not
possible.
able to I mean like living organisms aren't always able to adapt quick enough. Most species that have ever existed are extinct. So this is like far from a perfect system, but this is like one that you wouldn't need anything else other than its existence to explain the diversity of life and the complexity of life that we see today.
That's fine, but you have to accept that for evolution to be the way it is, there must be an underlying intentionality to live. So things try to avoid death on a microscopic cellular level. So there's a reason, like there's a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Natural selection is what does that. things that don't have a desire to live don't try to preserve their existence, so they die out really quickly. The things that
So you're
do
saying
desire
things
to
like
live,
try,
that's
desire.
well, the thing that is the most integral to our existence is our survival instinct, that and our reproductive instinct. These are two things that have been so well refined after billions of years of
Okay, so there's an
evolution.
intentionality to live.
There is a natural consequence. Like things that did not have this
But
natural
why is that
recoil
natural
to
consequence a consequence? Like,
natural
why
selection
can't
literally makes this happen. Like it's
Right.
very
but it
simple.
only
Like
is
if
happening
anything,
because things are trying to live. And like things are trying to live and can't and they die. And then things are trying to live and
or
can and
things
then they
things
live.
don't try to live, so they die. Or things try to not live, so they die.
Okay. And then they don't exist anymore.
Right.
So
So
only
would you
And then
describe
they
yourself as
tried
like
to
a
live
theistic
exist.
evolutionist?
the people the organisms that don't have a will to live, they die, and so they don't pass on this likelihood to any offspring for them to also have this lack of a will to live. The things that desire to live keep living, and they're going to pass on this survival instinct that they would just naturally have. You're not going to like get a
Great. So
very
I
it's
agree that
very
things
like
desire to
a
live.
natural survival instinct being absent is like I mean it's so unbelievably, this would be
But there's no need
incredibly
for
rare.
a survivor instinct. There's no need
No,
for
it
it.
just naturally occurs necessarily from the process of natural selection.
It can't naturally occur if
It
things
does.
aren't trying to live. So you need something trying to live for natural selection to work. Because if everything had no desire to live, there'd be nothing.
I think well
There
so
would
yeah,
be no
things
natural selection. There'd be no
things
evolution.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
because the things that don't try to live, they die out, and then there are things that
Okay.
do try to live.
Okay. So we agree there are things that try to live, that have a desire to live, and there's a desire for life.
Or they have a natural instinct without necessarily
Okay.
an
So
intent.
a natural command. I can't
It
call that
depends on what
random.
you mean by command, but like yeah, I think it's a natural
Instinct.
instinct. If you want to call
Instinct
that a
is like a
command, then
command. It's
yeah.
like a biological
Yeah,
command.
in that
Okay.
regard, I would yeah, I'd say so, sure.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying. I can't say that that's random because I can't tell you where that command came from. I can't tell you where that instinct came from. There's no chemical necessity for it. Everything else
It's something
chemically
that would have
has a
just
reason.
happened.
No, we see it's not something that would have just happened because
Yeah,
it doesn't just happen. It
it
only
does happen.
happens conditionally.
It does happen. Well, I mean, it's built on conditions, but it
Mhm.
just
Exactly. So it
follows.
doesn't just happen.
Well, of course, obviously, like it doesn't
Something that
just
needs
happen
conditions
absent of
doesn't just
all
happen.
factors. It's not like there's nothing and then all of a sudden there's this creature that has a survival instinct. I'm saying, given the
I agree.
conditions of the Earth, whenever a biological organism comes into existence, if there's some kind of abiogenesis process that brings things into existence, they would just naturally be doing what they do, like the RNA,
Yeah,
the
that
DNA, they're
naturally,
reproducing
that
each
natural
other.
thing you're saying, I call God. That thing that you keep describing as just a natural, like this is just happening without
So
any
this whole
reason or
time,
cause or
this whole
rhyme.
time, like you've just been using God as a misnomer, where like God is just
No, no, no.
nature. Because I
I'm just
believe in
helping you
nature.
kind of I'm just kind of helping you understand this now. Like that you're attributing all these things to what you call natural, right? But
Right.
you don't know why that's natural. And there's no need
I
for
just
that to
observe
be
that it
natural.
is. We
And
have
I
to
do too.
investigate to find out, like, well, we don't need to find out why it's natural. We just know that it is. But like to know where exactly things come from and the cause of certain things, we just have to do scientific inquiry in order to determine those things.
That's what
Now,
I'm doing.
yeah, right. So,
I'm
but like,
I'm curious to know
if
like what the
God,
implications are. Like
Mhm.
what is the implications of everything that you're, because I mean I've heard is just this generic.
No, the implications are that it's not randomly happening, it's happening intentionally
well,
By
so
what?
by God.
By God. What's God?
God is just, again, the state of potentiality. We see it, we read it
A state
logically.
of potentiality. That's gobbledygook.
is it
Yeah.
personal? Does it have a mind?
You see, I can only understand that right now we live in a logical form of it.
Mm.
But there can be an existence that's illogical completely,
Can you explain how?
where water and oxygen make fire, but sometimes it makes lightning, but sometimes it makes water, and sometimes it makes air. It's completely random. It's completely
That's
chaotic.
just
That
not.
wouldn't be
That's just,
illogical.
just
That
natural
would just be
processes.
that would just be
No,
inconsistent laws of physics.
with
That wouldn't be
our
illogical.
understanding, exactly. So what I'm saying is that we live in this form of logic, and they're completely
Well, what you described isn't
different
even
form of logic.
logic. What you described
To
was the
us,
laws of
to
nature.
us,
You're just saying
to
therefore
us,
magic.
to us, it's not.
No,
No,
you're
I'm
just
just
saying
saying
it's
that
therefore
not.
magic.
If
Everything
you
you're saying is just
understand,
therefore
it's
magic.
not therefore magic. It's
It
therefore
is.
cause.
well,
You're
you
just saying
said that
causeless,
things could exist.
purposeless.
You said a world could exist that's illogical. But what you described was not an illogical universe. Do you understand what it means for something to be illogical?
Okay, fine. I mean, let's. What do you mean? You said that it's not logical in our physics, right?
No,
Like, what's the point of even?
physics has nothing to do with logic.
So, like, if we had two hydrogen molecules and an oxygen molecule, and it made lightning one time, and then it made fire another time, and then it made grass, and then maybe it just became the earth. We wouldn't.
You're just saying
attribute that-
therefore God.
No, we wouldn't attribute that to chaos. We wouldn't be like, okay, this world this is randomness.
That it would be inconsistent. It would be very difficult to study. But
Inconsistency.
it wouldn't be illogical.
If every single time it was something else, we would determine it was random. If things popped in and out of existence without reason or cause, that would be random.
Well, I don't know that you could ever determine that something is random. I think that you could say that I don't know what's causing this, and I don't know if there's a pattern or not. It seems like there's no pattern, but maybe there's one I'm not seeing. I don't know how you could ever
You don't think there's a
conclusively.
pattern right now?
I don't know that how you could ever conclusively say that something is definitively random. You'd have to exhaust
Well, I can
all
tell you when things
possibilities.
aren't random.
Things aren't
I
random.
I can tell you when things aren't random,
So
and we can
I
do
don't
that
think
now with
I
certain
don't
with the
think
right
that you
with the
like
certain.
understand. I
What
don't
do you
think
mean with the?
I don't think you
What,
understand what like what it means for something to be illogical.
what do you mean? What does
Because
it being illogical have to do? It can be illogical and random. So
So
I don't know
therefore
what you're
God.
trying to say.
So therefore God.
No, I'm just explaining a different way that he asked me to explain a different way that life can be.
But
That's random, and I'm doing that.
Can you say can you explain how something could be that way? Like what would be the mechanism for that type of world to exist?
God.
See, this is all fucking.
I
This
don't
has all
understand,
been
like,
God
how
of the
you guys-
gaps. This has all been God of the gaps. It's just
not God of the
all
gaps,
fucking
guys.
God of the gaps. It's turtles all the way down.
burden-
God
the
of the
burden-
gaps. That
the
is
problem
all
is-
you got fucking to offer us.
The problem is there's less proof of no God.
Can I ask you a question?
my
Can I ask you a question about God? Can I ask you a question about your God?
Yeah.
Can I
there's
can
no
I
proof-
can I ask you a
there's less
question?
proof of no God.
Can I ask you a
What's up?
question? Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Okay. What's the point of your God? Like, I mean, honestly, because your God is what you've described is just something that's completely deistic.
It's a full expression of
which
every
no,
possibility.
it's deism, and that's the problem because it's just deists are just kind of irrelevant because there's no connection to it in any way, shape, or form that you can point to.
Okay. I just think God is.
It's only just positing
Fine. Cut me off.
all your claims to try to justify quote unquote creation and pointing to some
I don't need to justify
illusory
creation.
god or illusory deity because you still have to name the motherfucker.
I don't have to name him. I'm sorry if you're caught up on like the form of God.
I want to speak to when you said there's less proof for no God. Now, proving something doesn't exist is pretty difficult. In fact, I think it's impossible in science, like Russell's teapot, the teapot that orbits around the sun. Like there's no definitive proof it doesn't exist. You couldn't disprove that. There's no reason to believe that it does exist, and we're not going to start with the conclusion that Russell's teapot is a real thing that exists in reality, and it needs to be disproven. And God's the same way. God is this thing that people use as a gap filler in their knowledge. They don't understand how something works, so God fills the gap for them, and they posit God. The burden is not on the atheist to disprove God. We don't start with the assumption that there is God, right? We need positive evidence for God's existence, or at least good arguments or something. But it seems
So
like what you're doing is
disagree with the
explaining
teapot.
what you're doing is explaining what you believe, but I just still don't understand how you even got here.
Okay, so The teapot example, I
Amen,
don't think really
Lobes.
works out because you're explaining something that isn't really affecting anything around it. But when we're talking about God, we're talking about an ultimate cause. And when we logically look at life, and we've already determined that everything comes from a cause, force doesn't come from anything. Biologically, life has intentionality. I mean, you're giving me a lot of concessions that prove more, or even just saying that life has a predetermined nature, or preordained, or already happened thing. You can't
Yeah,
change it.
what
All
what you're
kind of give
so
cadence to like an higher
I don't know what your contention with
understanding.
the teapot has to do with the point that it was making. It's saying that you can't like disprove that the teapot exists. You might not care
Well,
like
okay, so let's say that
whether or
there
not
was
it
a force being
exists.
applied to the earth and we had to figure out where it was coming from, right? And then we saw it came from a teapot. Like that's the difference. Right now, there's a force that's actually being applied
Right, but then you're
that we
just missing the
see
point of the example that I gave with Russell's teapot. Like
because the
the
Russell's
point went
teapot
over your
isn't
head.
doing anything. So we're not observing any phenomenon to make us believe it exists in the first place. You're just
Oh, and
saying, is there
you're saying
that
that
we observing the phenomenon?
there's a force and you attribute it to God.
No, there's
Right.
force, there's
And
order,
to be fair too, like
there's
I mean
force,
a
there's
lot of
order,
your claims have come from a knowledge of
and
just like
intentionality.
no, you claim to have this like universal knowledge of the universe, which you don't have.
Okay, but I have knowledge of what is happening now and what we recorded and how we've come to the conclusion. I know how math came about. Math is infallible, right? This is
Mm.
logical. So we like everything that's happening, we can logically approach it.
To
When I
be
look
fair,
at
math has
DNA,
been like refined over time. Like we've
there's different forms of math.
yeah,
And you're right.
because it's fallible, we had to like improve it. And we still
No,
need
it's
to
not that
like
it's not that
improve on
no,
our
it's not that
math.
it's not that math. So the math, this is where you're so I understand how you feel about B theory, but I feel about that with math. Math and the truth have always existed. So like we just didn't know it. We thought we knew it, we got it wrong, and then we found it out. But it's already there. Like 1 + 1 already equals 2. We didn't make that.
Okay. Well, anyway, man, we've had a pretty long, pretty fun conversation.
Mhm.
Feel free to come back tomorrow if you want, or the next day. I'll be live for the next 2
Definitely check
days.
out Dr. Blitz.
All right,
Yes,
thank
yeah,
you.
that's BLITZ. He's got PhD, so you should definitely talk to him about B theory if you're interested in having it understood. So anyway, thank you for coming up. I appreciate
Yeah,
the
and follow
conversation.
Thank you
me
guys
and
too.
invite me like to your like share. Like
I followed
I'm
you
red out
guys.
of trouble. Like if you're on Blitz's live, please share. Like I will do my best to remember your username. And yeah, if I see it pop up like that you're gonna be like on his live, I'd love to listen to you talk about this with Dr. Blitz.
I appreciate you. Thank you guys.
Yep. Have a good one. Whew. It was a little bit of a doozy, but yeah, I think that we were inconsistent in our topic there. We were all
It's
over the
just God of the
place.
Gaps all the way down.
It is God of the
With turtles
Gaps.
all the way down.
His reason for believing in God seems to be like um he needs an explanation and doesn't
Just like
have
a
one,
God.
so it has to be
Yeah,
like
it's just a God. Like or it could be a whole pantheon. Like we haven't even we didn't even gotten into that.
right.
And that's obviously my forte, obviously. Like I'm you know me when it comes to I usually just concede God and love to argue the Bible and whatever theistic
Right.
position
You
they
like to do
want to come
internal
up with.
critiques about yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm more
So
of an internal critique, of course.
let's do we have a little bit of time left. Let's see if Sailing Camelot wants to go. Hey, are you at least 18?
Yes, sir.
All right, what God do you believe in?
Well, I mean, I grew up in the Christian church, but I'm no longer really a believer in, the Abrahamic religions by any means. I guess I'm more of a spiritual kind of guy, maybe agnostic or something like
Do you
that.
believe
But
in God
I guess,
though? Like, do you believe that there is a mind that created the universe?
yes.
Okay. What's your best evidence for
I
God?
was just
So I guess I'm really it's really more of questions to you about what you guys think. I'm not going to be able to sit here and talk physics or any of that mess. But all right. From what I've kind of gathered, it seems like throughout human history, we're all coded with a belief in a God in general. Like it's kind of ingrained in us. I just kind of would like to hear your thoughts on
I
that, and
mean, you use the
also,
word coded. I would say indoctrinated.
well, yeah, I mean, it is indoctrination, but I think that everybody has, in every culture, there has been some sort of existence of a god or multiple gods.
Sure. I mean, it's superstition, though. I mean, they came to those conclusions from a point of superstition.
Right.
Yes, I agree with what
This
you're
is
saying.
like people. So there's a lot of ways that people can fallaciously get to the idea of God. I think it's a very human thing to do.
Yeah.
So
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Lobes. Hey, Sailing, can you mute your mic when you're not talking? There you go. Thanks.
he
Yeah,
must be actually
I
sailing.
am. It's really windy outside where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. So there's a lot of ways where someone can fallaciously get to the idea of God. I think that humanity is just really good at doing this bad reasoning. One reason is they don't know how existence can exist. This question drives them crazy, so they posit God out of incredulity. They can't think of a way that the universe exists, or that the universe exists in the way that it does, or they look at the trees and they're like, whoa, that's a tree. How'd that happen? And they can't think of a way, and they're not educated. They don't do the research into what makes trees the way that they are. So they just posit God. There's also the fact that people can't stand that we're mortal. Drives us crazy. Like, the one thing that we want to do is survive, and the one thing that we're guaranteed is that we won't do that. So it's like it is contradictory to our very like mode of existence. So we make up a comforting lie, that God exists and he'll take us to live with him for eternity when we die. So that's a really popular way that people come to believe in God. They have like a desire, like it's like a survival instinct that's driving them towards this falsehood that they can live forever. So they'll do whatever they can to convince themselves. It's like a form of dissociation. Then you've got like the sense of wanting to feel purpose. You don't want your life to be meaningless. So if there is a God that created you special and loves you very much, like they tell you in VeggieTales, then you would intrinsically just feel like you were here for an actual purpose and not just some kind of cosmic accident, so to speak. Because you would feel this intrinsic meaning, right? You would feel like you were never alone. You would feel like there is this God that has your back potentially. And there's different forms of this that take place in different cultures. The tradition will be passed down to the next generation, and it'll just keep going down like that. But I think that these are the main reasons why people believe in God, not because there is like really strong evidence or philosophical reasons too. I think that these philosophical reasons that you hear, these apologetics, are like a post hoc. I think that they start with the conclusion and try to justify it as best they can. And there's some really tricky arguments that have been concocted in order to like force someone into force themselves into believing that it can be true. But yeah, I just think that that's why, you know. Also, actually, there is like some benefit to religion, like evolutionarily speaking. It brings people
And
together.
yeah,
It unifies us to a common goal. There's like harm that comes from it too, but like there is like an evolutionary benefit to it. So like we would naturally kind of like, that's another reason why we would have it.
I think it's a way of coping with naturalistic mechanisms, like, explaining lightning and thunder. Like, I'd always say like that, like Yahweh is a West Asian Canaanite storm deity. Like that's, I mean, it's just mythology to explain natural occurrences.
What do you guys think about all these near death experience stories where they somebody passes away and they have a vision of some form of heaven? Do you guys think that's the natural DMT release, or do you
I think it's
there's
natural
anything to
DMT
that?
release because I don't think there's such a thing as coming back from death, like actual death. Like if you're dead, you're dead. Like that's it. Like if you come back from like near death, like there is scientific evidence that supports, DMT in the brain and causing, I mean, you can have like natural highs from DMT just from chemical substances. Like, I don't know, you need to be on mushrooms or LSD or something like that.
I hear you. Yeah, I was just curious about those couple questions. I know I didn't have any Einstein shit to say, but there you go. I guess that's all I have to say. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah,
All right,
there's
you
no
too, Salem.
consistent view on near death experiences. I mean, I feel like that's the one thing that supports what we're claiming right now is that there's so many different variants of experiences because you have near death experiences from Buddhists, from Muslims, from Christians, and they all have different claims to what they experienced.
You'll never have a near-death experience where someone describes something that they've never heard of before. Like, you won't have somebody who's never heard of, like, Christianity describe something from Christianity, or somebody who's never heard of Buddha describing something from Buddhism. Like, if it's in their culture, if it's like it's something that their brain it's pulling from. Your brain wants to fill in the gaps of missing information, and you are aware that like you probably were about to die. So your brain is like, what should have happened here is you should have experienced some kind of maybe visit from the other side, a bright light. A lot of people just see a bright light because it's like, it's so like well understood. Like that's what you see. So like your brain thinks that's what I'm supposed to see. So it just shows you that.
And I would add, Lopes, like
Retroactively.
our culture is so inundated with Christian imagery. I mean, even if you're not like a Christian believer, like you have, I mean, I point to like Fantasia. If you've ever seen Bald Mountain of like the big demon and over the mountain and all the ghosts and stuff going, I mean, that's very impactful imagery that I'm not sure it was kind of like unintentional propaganda from Disney that supports a theistic universe.
Yeah, I mean it's just like a part of our culture in America, especially where you've got you got a church on every corner. You've got in the media there's references to Christianity in some regard all over the place, whether you believe in it or not. It's just everywhere. It's very ubiquitous in our culture. A lot of people, I think the majority of Americans would at least say on a survey that they're some form of Christian. Even
Influence,
if
yeah.
like even if they're not like practicing, even if they are like very loose in it, like it's just a part of the culture to be like I mean shit, like I celebrate Christmas, but I don't believe in Christianity. It's
Right.
just a cultural thing, it's just a
Mhm.
cultural whatever.
I think that's like, I think it's in it. I mean, you can even see like cartoons. Like, I mean, I know I've seen Donald Duck cartoons where you see like them die or something and
they turn
like
into
a
an
little
angel and start
angel,
floating
they
away,
turn a
yeah.
little angel and start floating up. Exactly. Like, it's just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just inundated in just pop culture. I mean, even just the most sacrilegious horror films, like you have an element of
assumes-
Christian
right.
cosmology like surrounding it.
Yeah, like that's the framework it's operating in. It's like this the Christian cosmology, or at least like a version of it, or like a caricature of it at the very least, where like the cross and saying the power of Christ compels you, like that will work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Like, there's like I can think offhand of several just cartoons like I grew up with. Like, there was this one, I think it was done by Looney Tunes, but there was like this, like the three little pigs,
Mhm.
and it was kind of in this like jazz setting. Like, they were like all jazz artists, and the big bad wolf would like, you know, blow their jazz place down.
Hmm.
And then of course, like the last thing, he like tries to blow the big like brick the brick jazz house down, and he couldn't do it. And then he goes to hell, and then he's like boiling in a fucking pot, and he's like, you know, tooting his horn like all good and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, in order to be, you know, I forget the phrase that comes with that, but it's just, I mean, it's just that kind of culture is just, it's all around us.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. I think I'm gonna end the live. It's 3 in the morning over here, so I got work tomorrow.
Yeah, it's 12 over here on the West Coast.
Yep. Thanks so much for
Hey, well,
being here.
yes,
Redheaded
of course.
Trouble. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
of course. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Everybody follow Redheaded Trouble before I drop her back down. She's writing a book. Do you want to plug your book one more time?
Yes, I'm, you know, writing a book called Behind the Curtain. It is a deconstruction book. It basically lays out all the things that deconstructed me from Christianity.
Yep. So, Behind the Curtain by Elizabeth Redheaded Trouble.
I mean, it is a pseudonym, but it's Elizabeth Bennett is the name that I'm going to be writing under.
Elizabeth Bennett, not her real name, but
yeah,
you know, because it's dangerous out here using your real.
That
name.
is the case.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, guys, yeah, make sure you're following Elizabeth Redheaded Trouble. And we'll see you next time.
And I'm a whore for Jane Austen, so that's why I chose Elizabeth Bennett.
Thank you for coming up. Good to see you again. Cheers. So my phone died. I had my backup account up here below her. So y'all can't really like click on it to follow that, but I also was going to use my phone to find another live that we could raid. But can one of you guys tell me who we should I don't know who's live right now. But we should do a raid. Tiny? You're heading to Thinker? Thinker has probably like 600 people watching. Yodi, Tiny. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll do smiley face for Tiny, crying face for Yodi. I like them both. I mean, Yodi and I think a lot alike. Tiny and I even think a lot alike. Wait, man, the way that Yodi approaches his lives is so like academic. He said Thinker curses too much. Thinker will like crash out pretty often, but Thinker really knows her shit. Like Thinker has a lot of biblical knowledge and either knows Hebrew or is learning Hebrew. She takes it very seriously. Yep. All right, guys. It looks like we are going to do a Yodi raid. You know what that means.
It's a Yachty! Hey, 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 hey! Yachty, 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 yachty! It's a
So we'll
Yachty!
see you guys over at Yodi whenever my
Yachty,
phone
yachty, 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 yachty! It's a Yachty!
See y'all Yodis.
Bitch!
Bitch. Thanks for being here. See y'all tomorrow. See y'all Yodis.